Gonna say we're recording now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another MerlinCast, Merlin the Mighty podcast. I've actually got a guest this time. Some of you might know this dude. This is Mr. Walking00Dead. Hello.
Hello. With my massive lockdown hair right now. It's like huge.
I thought that was like a stylistic choice, actually. I was like, yeah, you've always got like the curl thing going up anyway.
But yeah, like big quiffy. No, to be fair, I kind of like it.
Yeah, I was like, I thought, okay, yeah, he did his hair like all like crazy, but it looked like an intentional choice. So I was like, cool.
No, it's one of those like all the barbers are closed down, and I'm like, oh my god, I've like waited like a month.
I know we're gonna go off topic already, but like it's fine. I mean, I guess with everybody being on lockdown, I wonder. It's interesting what's considered essential and what's not. I guess haircuts are not essential, but I don't know.
Apparently WWF wrestling is though.
Is it? They still get together for that?
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah. Where are they in like? I think it's like Florida, one of the Florida mayors or whatever, or governors or whatever you have over there.
Oh man!
Like passed it that because they're like crucial entertainment, blah, 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 they're allowed to still,
I
wrestling.
I guess.
Like, okay.
It was like for the communities down there, those are essential. We need those. They
Yes.
keep us going. So hey, it state by state it varies. I mean, here I'm in Pennsylvania, and we're like in this county in the center, and we just got the I guess the thing from our governor announcement. He's saying, okay, like the announcement is for these counties in the state will slowly start being integrated, and we weren't on there. So we're still on lockdown for like at least another week. So it's slow going.
Right.
But yeah, man, is there any word on how you guys are going to be like, I don't know, getting back to normal, or is it still kind of?
Well, I mean, old England, we've been fucked because we're like the worst in Europe.
Were you? I thought Italy was the worst.
Nah, we've overtaken them now. I believe we have. I think like a couple of weeks ago we overtaken them in like death toll or some shite. I think it's all a load of bollocks anyway.
You do? Oh,
no, I do. Yeah, no. Personally, I think someone's up to something. Somebody's distracting us. Someone's up to some shady stuff.
I've heard some people say about the conspiracy stuff, and it is one of those things where, like, I mean, for me, when you don't see it I guess directly, it's like, okay, it's hard to believe, but I don't know. I mean, whatever it is, I mean, it's pretty nutty. But so your theory is you think it's all nonsense?
No, I mean, like, I do believe there's disease out there, and it's dangerous to certain people of certain ages, and if they're, and obviously healthy people die, but they're just like anomalies, because if you've got like 200,000 people and like a little drop in the pool of healthy people die, it's a bit like, well, okay, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
people die of disease too, but
well, yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of cool because we're trying to be more aware of like helping older people, because I guess older people are more at risk. But and I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not an expert on like epidemics or pandemics, but the thing that always kind of confused me, I mean, and maybe I just don't know how bad it is, but this particular virus is basically like the flu, like an intense version of the flu, right?
Well, it was originally in like tons of research because we're all sitting around on our asses. But no, it was originally in animals, wasn't it? Like COVID.
Yeah, it was.
Coronavirus was like a disease for animals and whatnot.
Yeah, I guess it's just a strain of something that's been around for a while, I guess.
Yeah, and this is, I believe this is the first time it's like jumped to humans and stuff.
Okay, maybe that's why. And they were like, oh,
swine flu and all those other things, like,
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, the predictions that, like, if you see the death rates and mortality rates, and like, it's not going to be worse than seasonal flu. Like,
and that's the thing that confused me. I was like,
yeah, it's like, this is what I say to people, right? Are you seeing people drop down dead in the street? No. So why? Is that bad?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I guess for certain people, they're really at risk. So we're just
for sure, yeah.
And we're trying to be aware of those people. But the weird thing about it is, I feel like you could say that about any time there's like a bad case of the flu.
Right.
So you know what? If somebody knows, feel free to let me know, because I'm not an expert. But I remember when this first started happening, that's kind of why I was a bit confused about the precautions. But
yeah,
hey, you know what? If it keeps some people safe, I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we're just kind of sitting around at home, and I'm just doing, YouTube stuff and playing video games. So, I mean, that's been my life. I mean, speaking of which, I guess we'll talk. You know what? All right. As you can see, because of current events, we've already gotten off the rails, but that's fine. My goal is to try and make it professional, but you know what? What the
Hey,
heck?
man, it's a podcast of the times.
A pod. Yes, it's a relevant podcast. Very up to date. All right. Well, all right. Well, I'll switch it up a little bit. I got a couple questions, but since I guess kind of in that vein, like with what things have been going on right now, I'm guessing you're kind of at home more. I think we've talked a bit about it. What have you been up to, I guess, during this time? You said you're essential personnel, right? You go out?
Yeah, I still work. I still work like 14-hour days.
Nice.
Couple days in a row. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I work like 3 or 4, depending on what week it is, like 14-hour days, and then I get the rest of the week off to do whatever I want. So it's
That's
pretty
kind
awesome.
of cool.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm working mostly from home, so the weird thing about it for me is
What
that
are you doing nowadays? You were in the cinema, right? I think the last time.
oh man, that was years ago. I worked. Oh man, let me see. All right. I worked in the movie theater for a couple years. That was like I left the movie theater in like 2014.
Wow, did you really?
Yeah, I only believe it or not. Okay, this is the thing.
That long ago?
But this might be why you're confused.
Mm.
Believe it or not, I mean, I only worked at the movie theater for like maybe a year and a half. Um,
Okay.
like around the time we met, actually, I was working there, but I had a couple friends that stayed there for a while, like my one buddy Dan, I did
Right.
podcasts with, and Justin. You might remember Film Fanatics.
Yeah.
I think they were in the theater a little longer, and I believe Dan was a manager there for years, and so
Oh,
because of him, we were still able to get in and see like a lot of free movies.
right.
So it probably seemed like I was working there because
Yeah.
but I was just reaping the benefits.
Still watching loads of movies.
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't even work at that theater ananymore. So like that's why the last couple of years I have not been as up to date.
Right.
Plus,
Yeah.
I've just been busier. But yeah, I work in I had a feeling we were going to talk about this, and I was wondering, am I going to be able to explain this to him? Is he going to get it?
Oh.
Because
Okay.
this might, and this is probably really dumb because it's like a cultural thing. But
Okay.
no, it's really obvious. But okay, have you ever heard of AAA?
AAA. Yes. That's car breakdown, right? Or is
Correct.
it?
Okay,
Yes,
because I know that
We've got
AAA.
AA over here.
Oh, okay, because AAA is, I know that there's United States and Canada where there, but I didn't know if there was anything over in England or Europe or anything. So, but yeah, basically I work for them. So I'm a
Oh,
dispatcher.
is it the cool people, like in a sense where you
Yeah,
send them?
yeah. Like I'm
Okay.
not okay. Like how you call somebody and be like, I broke down. I need someone to come tow up my
Yeah.
car. I'm the guy that like finds the truck or the garage that goes out to get you,
Okay.
and then I call you and say, okay, this person's coming out this time. Is all
Yeah.
this information right? Anything else you need to know? That's like 90% of my job.
Oh, that's cool. So at least you're not one of those people that have to call people and then they
No,
talk too much
no,
shit. You
no,
gotta
no,
pay
no,
around.
no. I no.
They're gonna
I'm
be nice to you.
to be honest. It's like I worked in a call center before that where like I had to call people and it was basically debt collection, and that was the worst job of my life. That was.
Oh, trust me. When I used to work in Blockbuster, we used to have to call up the customers and go, "Oh, by the way, you owe like £200
Oh
on
man,
late fees and games," and it was always horrible. People never
that's
want to
right.
pay anything they owe.
Yeah, it was for student loans and stuff. So like it was one of those things where people didn't people that was a tougher job to have. But now I'm kind of like I'm in a job where like generally people are happy to hear from you, so that's nice.
That's what I'm saying. They're generally happy to hear from you now.
Yeah, so no, so yeah, I like it. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I think I've been there for like 4 years now, man. So I've been there a
Oh
while.
wow.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and the cool thing about it is they were, the funny thing is they were just setting us up to start working from home, like because we have to go into the
Okay.
office and we're essential personnel. So like if there was a storm or something like a snowstorm here, we'd still
Right.
have to go in. But they were just working on getting us laptops to be
Uh-huh.
able to work from home just in case of that. And then all this happened, and now everybody's
That's
working from home.
like
So it was like it worked out kind of. So basically, long story short, my like general life didn't change too much.
Mine hasn't changed at all.
It's just like, so it's weird. I think that's why it's weird. It's like it's mostly hasn't changed, but except for like
Not being able to go outside
as much and having groups of people over to hang out and stuff. But that's like it pretty much. So anyway, yeah, okay. Moving on to the question. I guess you said, did you answer the question? I don't even remember.
What was the question?
What?
What am I doing in lockdown?
Yeah, what have you been up to? Yeah, you've been all talked to. Okay, never
Oh
mind.
yeah. So I've been playing some games. I've just got some. Poke out the last one I finished. Got Resident Evil 3, the remake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. As everyone says, it's super short, but I really like it. I mean, I think like a lot of people really shit on the fact that it takes a couple of hours to finish like your first playthrough.
Hmm.
But like the whole premise is like Jill Valentine's last escape from the city. She's getting chased by the nemesis. So the fact that because it's the remake's got like a really quick pace and it cuts out lots of content, which I
Hmm.
know what a lot of people are like, oh god, they've cut out content in a remake. But it's like where the pace is so fast, it's so action packed and linear. It actually feels like a genuine escape through the city. So I kind of really enjoy that. But then at the same time, I can go, okay, yeah. Unlike the first remake and the second remake, they haven't really added a lot. And they've cut a lot of stuff out. So I was like, I can kind of see people's, opinions where they don't like it as much. But I think it kind of really actually makes sense that it is kind of short because it's meant to be an escape
Interesting.
from the city of the dead. So
Okay. So it feels more like an actual experience to you, and you like the minimalism focus, but a lot of the
yeah,
criticism is that it just is not. It's a short game.
I mean, yeah, it feels more like an experience of a fast-paced action escape from the city. But then obviously nowadays everyone's like, oh, if a AAA game ain't 60 hours long or 120 hours long, it's a piece of shit. And it's like, well, not necessarily.
Well, it depends on the type of game. How long is the playthrough? Would you say actually?
Uh, my first run, I did it in 4 hours and like 2 minutes, which
Wow.
pretty quick time considering I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But the first Resident Evils, like I used to finish Resident Evil 1 on PS1 in about 2.5 hours. I used to do Resident Evil 2 in 2 hours. I used to do Resident Evil 3 in about 2 hours. So it's like if you're an actual Resident Evil player, it's like, well, this isn't new. All Resident Evil games are short.
Interesting. All right.
there's like two long Resident Evil games in the it's like Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil Code Veronica are like the only long games. So it's like I don't know why people were shocked by this.
And I think it's just like you said, the expectation now is like everybody wants big. It's all about big, expansive, and everything from what I've noticed, like, because I'm more of an amateur gamer. I've been kind of gaming a lot more now. And I think I told you last time we talked, I was like, I've been trying to get more into like classic games I never played or one to finish. And it feels like now, I guess when it comes to video games, it's like when I was looking at Steam the other day at like what's most popular. You've
Yeah,
got like your first person shooters like Call of Duty,
right.
you got GTA, and you got like racing games and sport games.
Minecraft.
Minecraft. Like those are kind of the popular things, but in terms of like I guess more traditional gameplay, it seems like it's just like combining action adventure with just RPG. Like everybody wants the big open world, a lot of expansion. Like I feel like that's mostly what people want every game to be. Even games that were like more
Yeah.
but they probably almost want to see more of that in Resident Evil. Like where do we explore?
I mean, I think the problem is now, right? Is like there's no. This is going to sound kind of stupid at the same time.
Okay.
Because, right. I guess should say in like the big title games, there's no categories anymore. Like when I grew up, you had RPGs, your platformers, even though there still are all around. I mean, you've got Nintendo or Ratchet and Clank, I don't know, whatever. I mean, there still are genres, if you get what I mean, but they're not as popular anymore. Like when I grew up on PS1, RPGs were huge, survival horror was huge, racing games, shooting games, action games, fighting games, everything was like really big. And then now we've got to this modern era, like you're saying, everyone wants these big open world sandboxes that, if it's not 100 hours long, everyone's like, it's a piece of crap. Or if it's not like Dark Souls and super hard and it takes you ages to learn, it's like, come on, guys! Like back in the day, there were so many different like wacky genres that were amazing that have all just sort of like faded away because I guess the games industry is all about like what sells now. It's like movies and shit in it, like remakes or the fucking sequels to fucking Marvel or whatever. we don't get like really wacky, like developers don't make any really crazy wacky games anymore. It's just so sad.
So you're saying there's like less experimentation with games now?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. I couldn't think of them ahead of time. There's less experimentation. There's less like creating genres. Like Death Stranding was like the last game that sort of like created its own sort of like genre.
But people hated that. Yeah, everyone hated that, didn't they? Yeah, they were like, "Oh man, it's like a hiking simulator."
I get it, yeah, but it's
different.
One of those things. It's very different, and it's one of these games that if you're not willing to invest a lot of time into it, you're not going to get it in a sense. And it's such a hard game to sort of like describe to people.
Have you played it?
Yes, you are walking around from A to B, but there's so much more meaning to it, and the whole strand system and connect and
Hmm.
players and all this. It's a genius game. I think in like 10, 15, 20 years, it will be one of those little underrated cult classic things where everyone went, when it came out, it wasn't appreciated. But, in years' time, I think it will be something that people will be like, they'll appreciate it then because it was so different.
I mean, I remember from, just the previews and stuff, it looked interesting as a concept, like it would be an interesting experience, but I guess, what do you think people were expecting from it? They were just expecting another Metal Gear or something? I mean,
Yeah, in a sense, I do think I was expecting to be a little bit more Metal Gearish, but I think people were expecting there to be more like action because you've got the things called the BTs, which are like, if you've seen it, like those oil blacky hands that come out of the ground and pull people through, and you get those big creatures and stuff. And it's hard to go into without going into spoilers, basically.
okay.
So I think a lot of people were expecting to have more of the supernatural creatures to fight on a more regular basis, or more like humans. Then, because it is really sort of like you are walking around and trying to traverse all these like mountains and all this craziness.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously you get the storyline connected into it, and then the stranding system where if you're online, obviously it's all like connecting humanity in a sense. It's a super deep game. It's like that's why it's so hard to explain to people. It's like,
it seemed interesting.
But it is super interesting. But it's one of these things that like you kind of need to get into it to appreciate it, because I totally understand why people put 10 hours into it and go, man, this is boring as fuck. Because it takes getting a few chapters in to like go, okay, this is really clever. You know what I mean? It's one of those kind of games.
Well, I mean, a lot of times that's the case with a lot of things is, things aren't really kind of appreciated as much in their time. And then people go back and look, this was interesting. But, I mean, I thought it looked kind of cool. It didn't look like your traditional game, but you could be immersed in the world. And I don't know. Yeah. But you're right. If it's not something that has a lot of action where you're necessarily fighting a lot of monsters or something, maybe it just turned a lot of people off.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like gamers nowadays, they just want that same old cookie cutter formula for stuff, or whatever genre it is, whether you've got the third person action. So everyone wants it to be like The Last of Us or Uncharted. And if you've got your shooters, they want it to be like fucking COD or something. You know what I mean? But you don't see anyone going, oh, I want a JRPG, or I want a fantasy RPG, or I want a RPG survival horror game. Like music games, like things like Parappa the Rapper. I don't know, there's so many like crazy games that just would never get made nowadays.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like that's just the way it is with a lot of markets is, it's that fine line of like, all right, we know what sells. We want to make sure things sell again. But if we keep doing the same thing again, people will eventually get kind of annoyed by that because we're repeating ourselves too much, and then they'll complain. So it's like, you got to walk.
I mean, yeah, but on the same token of that, you look at COD and you look at things like FIFA and I don't know, like Madden or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, every year.
Yeah. That is an excellent point, because I'll admit I don't care about those games at all. But you're right. Those have really, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they have not been changed that much in the past like 20 years, really. I mean, probably no. Right. So you're right. Really? Those things, people. Yeah, that's a good point. They're like some of the highest.
And they're paying like, 50, 60 dollars for it every year.
That's
annually.
That is a good point. And another one too was actually, someone brought it up in my last stream, was the Dragon Ball Z games. They're all the same, like pretty much. Like yeah. There are a couple ones that you could honestly play, like Budokai Tenkaichi, like one of those. Those are good. But in all honesty, though, if you played those games, you've basically played like what Dragon Ball Z games have. And somebody pointed out, like, you get to play. All right, how many times are we going to play the same scene from the anime? So I liked it. The last couple of games have tried to add in something a little new. But
there's 2 points I want to talk about Dragon Ball games.
Okay.
The first is like, I think like those early 2000 years were like the golden age of Dragon Ball games. Also, you got the Budokai games and the Tenkaichis. But I really think like you had the Legacy of Goku as well, like the Game Boy Advance, and Boo's like Rough. If you ever played them,
the RPGs.
They are fucking awesome, because they're like, if Zelda and handheld Pokemon games and Dragon Ball Z had like a love child, I think they're cool as fuck. Like, I think they're the best Dragon Ball Z games ever made, and I think they're like really underrated because not many people played them.
I remember sometimes I'm just curious about things, and I would look up lists and for best Dragon Ball games, those have come up like for ones, and I kind of feel like Dragon Ball is kind of like an RPG, like of that style, could be very fun.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like the simplicity of the RPG mechanics of like Pokemon
mhm.
with the top-down view and walking around in combat of Zelda, but then you slap Dragon Ball Z on it. So you
That's not,
can't go wrong, in my opinion,
yeah,
if you're a fan of either of those
it's
franchises.
it's simple. Yeah, you're right. So,
Yeah.
and it probably was a hit for a lot of people too, because you figure a lot of
Hmm.
kids back in the day love Pokemon, and they probably watch Dragon
Yeah.
Ball, like, oh, we could
Yeah.
do the same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's
I just stumbled across it once in my local game shop, and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And I was like, "Wow, this is like Pokemon and Zelda. This is great." And I just kept buying them. But like enough. And the second thing I wanted to say about Dragon Ball games is I don't understand why nobody has gone. Let's make okay. I guess the new game is sort of like RPG-ist, the
Mhm.
Kakarot one.
Yeah,
I've not played it yet. I'm sort of like waiting for it to go down, like
same.
to
I
next
I
to nothing.
I was interested in that one. I'm like, that looks a little different, so I'm kind of curious about that one. But go ahead.
Different. Yeah. Yeah, but I've never understood like why is no one like put in power levels in like an RPG Dragon Ball Z game where you can like charge them up and maybe get a scouter and read the power level or something, and like your level sort of like is in the same sort of sense of an RPG. It's like how powerful your character is,
Oh,
but
you mean
just do it like proper old school like same style sort of power levels. I think
like you
that'd be
have
awesome.
like a thing, like you get a scouter equipped, and you can like read people's stats and find out what their weaknesses are.
Yeah,
What
yeah. So
and
like,
then
if you're fighting like someone else, like a boss, you can read their like power level, or when you get like XP and you level up, say like instead of going up level 1, 2, 3, 10, 50 or whatever,
yeah.
goes up like 120, 500,
Oh,
1,000. I don't know. Say whatever Goku level is, you unlock Super Saiyan ability at a million, whatever. If you get what I mean.
well,
Like
all
I
right.
think, why has no one done that? That's such
Well,
a cool concept.
that is a cool
All these
concept.
games, they've
All right.
never really introduced like proper power levels.
No, like leveling up, like also kind of keeping it in the lingo of the of the show, like with the power level with the scouter. All right, I got a couple things for you then. All right, here we
Yeah.
go. The all right, well,
Mm.
I think that's a cool idea, and I'm kind of almost thinking if you had something like I guess Kakarot might do, where you might be able to reach certain stages, and it would be kind of cool if like you had to beat a certain boss or something, you would have to go and
Mhm.
grind and fight some other people, do some other stuff, level up, and then that
Yeah,
could
like
level you up.
training.
Like training, you do training, and I think they have that in that. So that
Yeah.
would be kind of cool. I think the problem is
Mm.
a lot of these developers are so rigid on keeping it like within the storyline, like you just go from scene to scene to scene, and not really having to level up. But like if there
Yeah.
was more of an open world concept, you'd kind of have to break away from like being in an arc. Like I guess you could be on Namek or whatever, and maybe this is what Kakarot is. I don't know, and you could like I
Yeah,
guess
I think it is very similar to that.
like you go,
Yeah,
let's
I
say
think it's similar to that.
like you're playing Vegeta for like a section or something, and you could fight Dodoria or Zarbon, but you can't beat them until you have to go like
Right.
fighter things get, and then you have to like do stuff
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
on Namek to get to that point. That would be cool. Like I
Yeah.
like that idea.
Mhm.
So yeah, and then I think and
Yeah, yeah. So that'd be kind of like just traditional RPG stuff where I don't know, say a boss is level 50 and you need to get to level 50, just do it in Dragon Ball Z style power levels.
exactly. And you could
Yeah.
do that. And I think also, I think Namek would be the perfect one because think about it. You'd have your party. You could even do top
Mhm.
down if you want. You got Vegeta, Gohan, and Krillin.
Yeah, cool.
Dende
Yeah.
is like a healer. And there'll be parts where they kind of split up and they're fighting. That would be kind of cool. Like Vegeta has joined your party
Mm.
now when the Ginyu Force shows up or something. Like that would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be so
That would
cool.
be really cool. I agree with you. I think that would be really cool. Also, another potential problem, though. I
Mhm.
don't really care about this, but I think they should still do it, like you said, anyway, because it would just be fun. But remember, in the lore of the show, that power levels are kind of BS, though. That's the thing. Like they might say, "Oh, his power level is 180,000," but that doesn't mean anything because it might not actually be his power level. It's that goes off the scales eventually.
Oh, like suppressing it and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the concept of like if you bring in the scouter, you can just like I don't know, you're fighting a character, press a button, and the little scouter comes down and says 180,000, but really he's like 2 million. It goes just when because I would keep the same concept of like Budokai where if you I can't remember what the buttons are. I think it's like you just press X or back or something, and you charge up power.
hmm
So say you could sort of like maybe choose what level you go into, and you can increase your level when you want, like in a proper Dragon Ball Z fight.
Oh, you could like temporarily boost your level.
Yeah, because you know how you get like mana and stuff in RPGs and it drains. So say like if you go in full power in a fight, or you know what I mean, or if you use your maximum power, it drains your mana
Oh,
because say like if you the higher level you use, maybe you unlock like different moves. You know, there's someone out there could create such a cool like fight mechanic RPG
it's like
for
a
Dragon Ball Z.
limit break sort of thing.
Yeah, like something like that.
That's yeah, that's very doable. I think they should play around with that. I guess it's just that fighting games are so obvious, maybe, that they're just sticking with that. I just wish it
Well,
wasn't.
you could still have it like in a hack and slash RPG style, but instead of being hack and slash, have them just like fight, or have it like Persona. You can still open up the menus to do certain attacks. I don't know. There's tons of stuff you could do Dragon Ball in it.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. There's a lot of experimentation they could do with it, but you're right. They've been sticking mostly to the same copy of the the older fighting games that you said were the gold standard, pretty much.
Yeah,
Um,
slightly improving on them.
yeah, you're right, man. But wow, look at that tangent. I don't even know what we were originally talking about. Video games. That's right.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right. I think I can move on to my second question. All right. This yes. All right. Well. All right, Dad. Well, most of the people watching this probably know already, but for the sake of basically sort of reintroducing you to some maybe newer people on my channel, or just kind of getting an update for me on what you've been doing, because I mean, you can go into the history if you want. Like, I guess, tell me a bit about your channel, what you do on YouTube, kind of where you got started, what your goals are now. I noticed you put up a couple videos recently after a bit of a break. So what's up, man, with all that stuff?
Yeah. Shit, loaded question. Okay,
I know it's a big question. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that is. I guess I'll just like reintroduce myself on my main channel, and then I'll talk about what we're doing.
Yes. We got a little out of the order, but yeah, reintroduce yourself again, please.
Yo, I'm the Walking00Dead. I used to call myself the king of the anime and manga unboxers. I guess I still do. I don't know.
I think you still did on your last one. King.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Fuck. How long have we been doing YouTube now? Is it 7 years? We all started around the same time, didn't we? Like,
7 or 8 years, something like that. Yeah.
God damn, 7 or 8 years. Right. So we've been around for 7 or 8 years making this shit. So yeah, my channel, my main channel, the Walking00Dead. It's sort of like I've been on a break for about a year, but like I do anime and manga unboxings on like special edition stuff, you know, that sort of cool things. And then I don't know, I've kind of like over the years, it originally started as that, and I've sort of like merged so much stuff into it. It doesn't really have an identity anymore because I've added loads of like Walking Dead comic book stuff, or I years ago I used to like do live reactions of the Walking Dead TV show. And if you're a Walking Dead fan out there, the Walking Dead Skybound, which is like their big website and publication, gave me an award on their website.
What?
For like the biggest like fuck F-bomb like reaction. This is like when Beth died. And it was like me and loads of people like messaged me going, "Oh, you won this award." Like send it to me over Facebook. I thought, what the fuck?
You won an award and you didn't even know it.
I was like, wow, okay.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I used to do that, but then the show got terrible and I lost interest.
Okay, I was going to ask you, because you sort of answered another one of my questions about your name, but yeah, I know you were a big fan and you kind of focused a lot on the Walking00Dead. You know, obviously that's your name.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So you do agree, because I only watched the first couple seasons and then I kind of lost interest. I've heard a lot of people say it's bad, but it still lasted so long. People still watching it. Like, what's up with that? I don't get that.
I don't know. It's kind of like I haven't watched at least 2 seasons now, I think. But it's like you have like a really crap season or crap half a season, and then you get really good, and everyone's like, "Oh, okay, it's getting juicy again." Then it gets crap and good. And it's kind of repeated that formula.
It gets juicy again.
Right?
Remember that description. It gets juicy, and literally with zombies, it's like, you know, rotting goo. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I lost interest when they killed off Carl, because I'm a big fan of the comics, obviously, in case no one knows. Sorry, spoilers.
Yeah, I was about to say spoilers.
When Rick left the show, I literally just thought to myself, like I'm big into the comics, and I'm like, you've removed the future of the comics and Carl, which is what we know secretly they've been building to the whole fucking time, and you've taken away Rick, the main character, the character that we start the series with, we followed with his family. You've taken him out too, and I get that Andrew Lincoln wanted to go, and I'm a bit like, how the fuck I don't know how because I'm not interested, but how are you going to do the next saga when you've taken away these characters? How are you going to do the Whisper War? How are you going to do the Commonwealth? How are you going to do any of this stuff when you've taken away the two most important characters? I don't get it. And I was like, fuck it, I'm done. Like, just can't watch it anymore. It's silly.
Wow. So what, okay. What do you think the best season is?
Season 1.
I agree.
I think it's great. Like, it's shot amazingly. The angles, the cinematography, it was brilliant. Like if every season was like that, it would be like,
man,
Sopranos level of greatness or something, like The Wire.
Dude, I'm telling you, like I remember when it first came out, I just remembered thinking that first season was so exquisitely done.
Brilliantly done.
But then it just, I mean, I didn't mind the seasons that followed after so much, but I could tell like the dip in quality, like
Well, yeah, because they changed the director. Was it? I think it's the guy that did Shawshank or The Green Mile.
Really?
I know he's done quite a few films, and like some of the other, like his assistants were on like Terminator 2. They were all like really good people. I can't remember the guy's name, and I that's terrible for a Walking Dead fan to forget the guy's name. But I'm smoking.
Hey, so, we're all guilty of that sometimes. I didn't know. So they had some pretty big directors and stuff.
Yeah, they did. They originally had a big director, and that's why that first season is cracking. And then
cracking.
Season 2. I think he did the first half of season 2, but then he left. And then there was a big lawsuit because he wanted like royalties because of how big the show came. And but yeah, it really sucked that guy left because he was following the comics.
Oh yeah. See, do you think
but actually take that? He was following the comics, but he did add some elements that weren't in the comics, like Daryl and a couple of other characters and the CDC and stuff like that, which I thought were awesome. Like it just generally felt like something naturally in the series, so it didn't feel forced like other characters later on. But
yeah, I kind of picked up on that too. But all right, so you're not okay. Walking Dead fan, but not necessarily as actively on the show anymore.
Yeah, I'm still a fan of the comic and the series and everything like that. But yeah, I'm just like, I like the first couple of. I like the first couple of seasons of the show. I mean, I watched up to 9, just gave up.
9. Wow. So how many seasons does it have now? Is it 11 seasons?
11, 10, 10. I think or 10.
By the way, I wanted to make a comment about it, but that is an awesome Toy Story cover. Is that Buzz Lightyear? Who else is on that?
Oh yeah, shit. Oh yeah, I'm showing out my camera there.
That's really cool. Buzz to infinity and beyond.
Yeah, right.
So, all right, now I have to ask, and as you know, this is we're already off the rails, but it just got me curious. Yeah. I mean, clearly Pulp Fiction fan, but Toy Story fan as well. All right, so is Buzz your favorite Toy Story character then?
Yeah, I mean, I've got it's all the way downstairs. It would have been amazing if I had it. But I like to wear a backpack every day. It's like Buzz Lightyear. It's like a Disney Pixar Vans sort of like one.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's
wow.
Buzz on it. Yeah.
Which is the best Toy Story movie, you think? That's a big debate, always.
Oh.
I know.
I mean, it's like one, you go for nostalgia because it's great. 2, I think probably 2 probably is the best. 3 is really sad. 4 was generally cool. I don't know, maybe 2.
Yeah, I don't believe me. I think Toy Story is one of those ones where there is no wrong answer. I think they're all really good. So I think 3 has always been my favorite. But to be honest, though, I'd have to go back and watch 2 again because believe it or not, I think I've only seen it once.
Oh, okay.
I think I saw it back maybe in theaters, like when it came out in like '99 or whatever. So I haven't seen Toy Story 2 in such a long time. I'd have to watch it again. I think I may have seen it once before then, but I don't know. But yeah, 3 is probably my favorite. I saw 4 not too long ago. I did really like it. I thought the 4 was very good.
Yeah, 4 was really cool. I liked all the new characters like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, like Keanu Reeves as himself. Yeah, he was he Evil Knievel basically? He was like a biker guy.
Oh, the Canadian stuntman.
Yeah. That was great.
Duke Kaboom, is it? Yeah,
Duke Kaboom. Yeah, that was cool.
Yo,
I could watch that again. All right, man.
Yeah, I've only seen that one once. Shit, I should probably answer the rest of that question.
Yeah, wait. Yeah. More question. Go ahead.
Let's just say my channel, Anime and Manga Unboxings. I used to do a lot of Walking Dead stuff. Sometimes I do some geeky like Metal Gear Solid or Resident Evil video game stuff. Yeah, and a little bit of wrestling. like WWE, and I sort of all just jammed that together.
No, it's cool. Your channel is really just your kind of hobby hodgepodge of whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, originally it was just like hardcore anime and manga, and then I just sort of like added all of my other passions into it. I don't know, like we said, we've been going for like 7 or 8 years or whatever it is, just mega like burnout because people don't realize like
Yeah,
just how much it takes to like record and edit and upload it and do all this shit.
and I'm glad to hear you say that because
Time to record it. It's
dude,
like,
I'll be honest, I'm right there with you. I mean, if you look at my channel, it's all over the place. And I was like you, I kind of just did a lot of anime and manga focused originally, but you're right, man. It can be burnout. I've had some times where I've just like, I don't feel like doing it because it takes a while.
It does. Really does. I mean, don't get me wrong. Love making videos. I love being geeky and doing all that shit. Love like sharing all my geeky stuff.
Me too. Yeah.
Love it. Love making the videos, but fuck, it takes like so long.
So, you know what? And that's the thing. Like I know you've always like tried to experiment and try to make some really cool videos. I know you've tried to up your game a lot, and that's good.
I mean, I think that's just like kind of like the perfectionist in me. Like I'll talk about like my new channel like in a minute, but like well, actually I'll probably fuck it. Sorry. I really need to clear my voice. The worst thing to do on a podcast. You must be like, hey. Oh God, I'm dying. Sorry, let me take a big old swig of this.
Is that orange juice or something? What is that?
That is orange and mango juice.
Ooh, that looks good.
Awesome.
It's a big container of liquid.
That is huge. I mean, this is I don't want to get up and go get another drink.
You might have to get up later though.
Right. For a piss. So talking about like how I was like up my game and stuff. Like I've always like, so I feel when I first got into YouTube, Jesus, this like answers all the questions you asked earlier. rambling into it, you know what I mean? I think when I first got into the YouTube anime community, I sort of like, I was someone that watched a lot of people first before I thought, oh yeah, I'd like to do that. Why not give it a go and sort of see what it's like? So I was watching like World, Code Provider, Bob Samurai, loads of other little people. And I sort of like watching these people, I sort of like went, what do I want to do? You know, when you're figuring out like what you're going to do with a channel and what you're going to brand it around and all this sort of shit. Mm-hmm. So I sort of like took little elements from each of those people and then just like slap my own sort of like flavor on it. And like, I always felt when I was in the community, even though I was like talking with reviewers and chapter reviewers and all these people, I was sort of like in my own little box doing unboxings, even though I could probably do reviews just as well as everyone else, but it's just not what I chose to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Fuck, where was I going with that?
No, I don't know. You said you were going to answer a bunch of questions. I don't even know.
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, no, yeah, I know. I remember. Yeah, so I was saying, so when I originally started the channel, I wanted to go with like unboxings, mm-hmm. but I wanted to sort of like see what worked with other people, and I wanted to sort of like, when I was originally doing like just unboxing videos, I wanted to try and do it completely different than all of the sort of like big anime and manga unboxers at the time. Like, what could be done differently? What could be done better? What do I hate about watching these videos? You know, I've got to sort of like put my mind into someone that's watching it. You know what I mean? So like, I hate it when people do unboxings and it's on their bed, you know, and they're just going, hey, I've got this, or, you know, I don't know, terrible lighting or just the horrible things that people do in unboxing videos. So I was sort of like, what fat can I trim off and then add my own sort of like flavor and style to it? Sure. I don't know, like, I'm a bit of like one of those perfectionist sort of like people. Like I hate watching like older videos because I'm always like, oh, that's terrible. Because I'm always looking at something saying like, what can I improve? What can I make better? What can I cut out? What can I add? What can I do this? Mm-hmm. I just always try and make things as best as I can, sort of thing.
Oh yeah, I can relate.
Yeah. So what am I doing now? I've had like, I think it's like a 1.5 year break just because I was like totally bad, and then like, life happened because I had all these big plans. I was gonna create a channel. It's gonna be, well, I have created a channel, and it's kind of like my sister channel, if you want to call it like that. It's like a spin-off channel. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to focus on and do sort of things slightly differently and change things up. Like I've changed the way I edit. I've doing multiple different kinds of videos. Sorry. So I was going to focus it around doing live reading reactions to the Walking Dead comic book as it was coming out like monthly. Mm-hmm. And I did a couple of like test videos to see what it was like on the channel, and it did pretty well, to be fair. The problem is the fucking comic book ended like, I don't know, 4 months into me having this idea and doing it.
Mm.
So that was annoying.
Okay, yeah.
So that was this like these like videos were like they're totally different sort of like style of view because I'd have like a camera down on the comic book and I'd be reading it out and like reacting and talking about the story and reviewing what was going on and discussing it, and it was like something totally different. And then like I wanted to do anime and manga unboxing. I wanted to do all of like my special edition stuff that I get brand new. So it wouldn't be just like any old random stuff. It would be like something really cool to show someone.
Mm.
So that was going to be like the second element of the channel, which it is technically still. The Walking Dead stuff's cut out because obviously it's ended. And then, so now that that's sort of like ended, I've now had to change sort of like the idea. So it's going to be anime and manga, but then I really want to focus on like video games. So say it's like going to be 80% video games and the other percentage will be anime and manga.
Mm-hmm.
But my idea, because like if you go into sort of like video games, it's like holy shit, there's like a billion people, right, that do this stuff. So you're gonna, how the hell am I going to stand out and do different shit? Mm-hmm. So the whole idea of like doing a new channel was, burnt out, right? I wanted to do it again. So I was like, okay, so I need to sort of like reignite sort of like the passion and the creativity. So what am I going to do? So these are like the new things I wanted to sort of like focus on and do totally different. So it's like everything. So like my video styles have changed. The way I edit it, like my thumbnails, like I've taken like real loads of time to make something that looks like it's going to stand out and be really cool. You know what I mean? Like just trying to like change things up like totally different to sort of like give myself like a new challenge. Like that's why I've created a new channel recently. It's like I hit 10,000 subs. And then I sort of like burnt out and I was a bit like, what do I do from here? And it's like, took out a load of time and it's a bit like, okay, so I'm going to create a new channel. And then so like for video games stuff, I was like, what can I do totally different? So I was like, I'm not going to do anything different because it's all been done. So I put my own sort of like spin on it, right? My own like passion and stuff.
Sure.
So I haven't like, basically I told you this before. I've made like maybe 150 videos for this new channel.
You've been saying that for a while. Yeah.
I've made so much stuff. I just haven't released it.
Why not?
Because like my idea in my head was like, I was going to create a year's worth of content where I could upload 2 videos, maybe 3 videos every week for a year, right? And then that would give me like a year where I don't know, if I wanted to slack off and take a couple of months off, 6 months off, I could do that, right? Or I could take that next year and I could be creating loads of new videos. So it gives me like a big head start. Wow. So I've already got like loads and loads of videos. I've already done all this stuff. But yeah, if you checked out the channel now, I think I've got like 25 videos up and you could see that like they're totally, the Walking00Dead Z is like very different in every sort of sense than my main big channel, the Walking00Dead. Because like the video game stuff is obviously more something I'm focusing on. So I'm going to do like, because I like to unbox like anime and manga back then. So I'm going to take that concept as well with video games because I've got a massive ass fucking video game collection as well as like a big anime collection. I've got a games room so I can do like games tours and I'm picking up loads of games. So, and I buy lots of special edition stuff. So, like when I originally started with anime and manga unboxing, I'm going to do that sort of like similar style with like video games. So that's going to be like one element of it. And then I want to let's play like every Resident Evil game, every Metal Gear Solid game, every Yakuza game. I want to do all the big games that come up. And I've already like let's played loads of games, recorded them. I've got them pretty much like ready to upload whenever I want. And then like I've created a segment, like a new segment, because that was also a new idea because I never used to do like segments. I always thought that's like cool when people have that on their channel. They have like a certain segment that comes out every week or whatever. So I created something called Game Vault, and I sort of like, I wanted like an idea. So I was like, shit, what can I do? It's kind of different. And there's a video game magazine called like Eurogamer over here in like UK, and they do a concept on their YouTube channel called Late to the Party, right? So I've kind of taken the concept of Late to the Party, but I've added my own concept to it as well. So there's like two elements to it instead. It's so it's not basically just ripping them off. So Late to the Party is where one person sits down and they introduce the other presenter to a game, like an iconic game or a cult classic game or something like that they've never experienced before. So like Late to the Party, right?
Okay.
So Game Vault, my idea is where I've got like a big ass game collection. I take a game from my collection, aka the Game Vault, if you want to call it like that, right? And I take something that's like iconic from PS1 to, whatever, any console, SNES, Mega Drive, Genesis, to anyone. and so I either do like sorry. So it's like I pick a nostalgic childhood like favorite game of mine that's like a big cult classic game, if you get what I mean.
Mhm.
So for example, I've done 30 episodes so far. I want to do 52 weeks in a year, blah blah blah, right? So I've still got a few to do. But I've done 30 so far, so like I'll have something like if you know me, you know, big fan of Metal Gear Solid, so I'll do a game full episode on Metal Gear Solid. So it's like a 20 to 30 minute long like episode on playing the game, but I'll also like talk about trivia and like how I got into the game as a kid, and you know, talking about it, not just playing the game over the top of it, putting something a little bit different into it. You know, asking questions to the fans, yada yada. So, but I'll be picking loads of games like Shadow of the Colossus,
Nice.
Resident Evil 4, I don't know, the original Tomb Raider. I don't know, loads of, you know, Final Fantasy 7, loads of, you know, like big iconic games that everyone loves and knows, that are also sort of like all child, you know, favorite games to me. And then which is, you know, the similar to Late to the Party, but then the other half of it is where I've got such a big game collection. There's also like really big games that are like classics that I've never actually played by own. So it's like, so I'll take something from the collection, the game vault, if you get it, and then it's like I've never played. I don't know, what's on here. Say I've never played Shenmue, or however you pronounce it. I can't remember. Or I've never played Skyrim, or you know, okay. I've never played. I don't know, Mass Effect, but I own it, so I'm going to play it for the first time. So it's like a. So the second part of Game Vault would be like a reaction first time playing something that's meant to be like really, really good. So that was sort of like the concept of that segment. So yeah, and then I want to do like an anime one. Like I want to do. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, so I haven't actually started yet. It's like I want to redo One Piece, the anime, to sort of like just see if I can get into it, because you know me, I've tried to get into One Piece like on a few occasions and never really been able to do it. But there was like a sale on like One Piece DVDs, and I got like the first 14 seasons or something. Jeez, so I thought, okay, so I want to call it sort of like Grand Line Journey, or I don't know, Grand Line Adventure, or, you know, I want some sort of name like that. And it's going to be like watching a season and then reviewing it like season by season. Because I've only watched like up to like Skypiea, so it'd be kind of like never watching it before, sort of like thing after that point. And it's been like 10 years since I've watched One Piece from the start. So
gotcha. I think
I remember it well.
I went back.
Yeah, so yeah, I've got like loads and loads of concept ideas. I
can tell.
And segment ideas. I want to do. I've also doing like lore videos on video game characters.
Yeah.
We'll do things like that. So basically, I'm like just doing a completely different style and changing things up a lot. And I've got loads of videos ready. It's just you know, life happens, and it's like I was trying to have the channel ready like ages ago, but it, you know.
Gotcha. So
it's probably went on forever then.
No, it's fine. No, you went. I'm just trying to make sure you have a lot of videos ready to go. Are you going to still release them, or you just want to make sure they're all ready before you do that? Is that what it is?
Hang on. I'm gonna turn a light on in it because it's gonna be dark.
Because it's like 8 o'clock where you are, 8:30, something like that. I think you're 5 hours ahead of me, right?
Yeah. What's the time? Oh yeah, it's like 8:30 over us. It's not too bad.
Okay.
Still pretty light out, but you know, it's getting a bit dark, I'm noticing. Sorry, what did you ask again? Oh, about the videos. Yeah. So yeah, I've got, I think maybe over like 150 videos now of let's plays, unboxings, big pickups for anime, manga, big pickups for video games, like special edition stuff, character lore videos. Like I've got tons and tons and tons of different stuff. Like I got like a big book, which actually unfortunately I didn't. It's usually sat right there where I write like loads of ideas down for like things like. So I've got like top 10 lists. You know, I've made tons and tons of stuff, right? So I'd write down, top 10 weapons in this game, top 10 characters in this franchise, or you know, top 10 moments, or you know, or whatever. Do a let's play of this game, do a review of this. You know, I'd write down like tons and tons of ideas in this big book for this like new channel. So, you know,
yeah, tons of stuff.
A bit nuts. But yeah. So I've created loads of stuff, and it's just basically when I want to feel like it's ready to, you know, upload, and I can do it like weekly and stuff, if you get what I mean.
are you going to put it on the old channel, or are you going to put it
Oh no,
just on this new one?
this is all going to be on like the new channel sort of thing.
All right.
But
So,
I do have videos on the old channel, but they're just sort of like waiting to be released because I'm going to do both channels at the same time. If you get what I mean.
okay. So, all right. So, okay. So the main one's not dead. Or what are you going to put up on the main one though? Is it going to be split? I was kind of confused about that.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the main channel, I'm essentially like just cutting back to like anime, manga reviews and recommendations, that sort of stuff, and anime and manga unboxings and all the stuff I pick up.
Uh-huh.
That's primarily going to be on the main channel now. And then on the new channel, I'm going to focus on like retro gaming and all that gaming pickups. And then I'm also going to do like special edition anime and manga stuff.
Okay. I really liked your I remember I really always liked your unboxing videos because you did try to make them professional. Do you still have the turning table thing?
Yeah, no, I've still got that.
Oh, yeah, nice. That thing was awesome.
Yeah.
So just want to clarify, you're gonna do, when you do the unboxings of like the special edition games and stuff, it's got to be kind of like what you did with the anime pickups and manga pickups, right?
Yeah, it is. But I'm like when I said, when I sort of like, what can I always change? I've decided to sort of like change up the way I do it a little bit.
Okay.
It's gonna be very similar to the way I used to do it. I'm just gonna like chop and change a little bit of things to change it up slightly differently. Not like massive changes, but you know, I've added in like, so the turntable is a perfect example then, actually, thinking about it, because I've actually, in the new videos I've made, I've brought back the turntable. It's just like a slight little thing. So like I do a voiceover when the turntable with the box set or the special or the figure or whatever I'm showing, right? And then I'll like voice over like special features on it, or you know, to try and make it like more professional, and you get to see the thing. And then I'd like cut to what I'd usually do, where I'd be showing you the item at the same time as well, and then end it with like an outro intro and ask you questions about the series or the game or, you know, whatever sort of thing. So yeah, just slightly like tweaking it and changing it up from the old style, just be a little bit new and different.
Are you still going to do skits and stuff around things?
Yeah. So that's a big thing that I like. Yeah, I like doing silly skits, you know. It makes it different. So yeah, I mean, like the last one I did was on my Resident Evil 2 collector's edition box set. I don't think a lot of people saw that bit because I did it after like the outro, and I did it in first person. So like it was in like an alleyway, and there's like it's all in first person gun review, if you get what I mean. So to make it look like Resident Evil 7 instead of Resident Evil 2. I don't know why I did it that way, but a bit weird. But yeah, so I did it. So there's like a manhole cover in like my back garden in an alleyway in my old house, right? So I opened it up so it looks like you can go down, and then I had like a gun case, and then I had like a glow stick like cracked open and it glows blue, and then like a T-virus bit on it so it looks like the virus. So I did it so it's like a gameplay style. I picked up, and then it opens up the menu like the game and makes the same noises, and then you'd see the picture of like old school Resident Evil style. You'd see the picture of the T-virus and what items I was carrying, so what gun I was carrying, and if I had a knife on me or a lighter, you know, random shit like that. And then it would be like I go into the house and I pick up keys. So it'd be like a proper Resident Evil style thing to like walk through the house to then get attacked by a zombie, and you know, like you know, crazy crap like that.
Nice.
I did like static stuff, and yeah, I tried to make it kind of like a first person review of the original Resident Evil's intro, like, because it was like live action. So I tried to make it like an homage or a love letter to that. So I like doing crazy little skits like that, because I think it's like, it's kind of me adding my own geekiness and passion into my videos, you know, and not a lot of people do them. I mean,
yeah, not as much anymore, actually. So that's kind of cool to see. Yeah, I don't think I saw that one, actually. When did you put that one up?
That one, to be fair, was like last year, because that's when Resident Evil 2 came out, the collector's edition.
Okay,
maybe that was the last video I uploaded on my main channel. So
gotcha. I don't remember that if I saw that part or not.
Oh, maybe not. No, because it's right at the end. I don't know why I decided to edit it in at the end. I really should have done it at the beginning, because then it would have made more sense. But I don't know.
Would have been good.
I might just upload it and be like live action Resident Evil parody or some shit. I don't know. It's kind of cool. I liked it. I was very geeking out over it, going like.
You should maybe one time.
Cheesy Resident Evil. Love it.
Oh, absolutely. It kind of fits in with the tone. You should do like a compilation of all your skits sometime. That'd be kind of cool.
I should. Oh man, that'd be funny. I might do that when like, I don't know, I get some followers on the new channel. I might like upload ones, other stuff. because I did one for Metal Gear Solid on a retrospective where like I sort of, to be fair, I'm not going to do it now because I do a pretty good Revolver Ocelot impression. I'll probably really botch it if you try me to do it now, so I'm not going to do it. All right. Like at the end of like every Metal Gear Solid game, like there's like a blank screen and a phone call where it's always Ocelot, and there's like a big plot twist. It's like, Mr. President. That's terrible. I'm not, I'm not even trying to do a Revolver Ocelot impression. That was shit. But anyway, yeah, no, it's like, oh, Mr. President, or some stuff. So I did like that at the end. You know, I do loads of crazy little skits and things. Like I used to do back in the day, the Toriko one with the food and rap shit.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
I've done some crazy ones, and then I created the character, the Unboxing Man, which is like my parody of Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, if he was an anime unboxer. I remember that. Yeah.
I used to do it with like a Pokemon transformation, like evolution. Like, pumped up. I'm going to unbox some shit today, motherfucker.
Oh, nice, man. Okay, so you've got a lot. You've got a lot planned.
Yeah, I've got a lot of shit planned.
Okay, I'm glad because I'll be honest. I thought like you hadn't put much up for him. Like, is he still doing stuff? But apparently you are. Just you haven't released it yet.
No. That's the thing. I haven't released it yet. Like the last 2 videos I uploaded on the new channel, which you saw, were I made those a year ago. So that's what I mean.
Oh,
like I've had stuff like pre-recorded and done for ages. But I wanted to do them around the time of Resident Evil 3 coming out, the Resident Evil 3 remake coming out anyway. Because I honestly thought, like, you know, if coronavirus didn't happen and life and shit, you know, I would already be on schedule like at the beginning of the year, uploading weekly. You know, but you know, shit happens, and then we're like halfway through the year, and I'm a bit like, well, still haven't started that channel.
Yeah, sounds like you'll get them uploaded at some point. I hope. I want to.
No, I will definitely.
All right, man. Well, I'll tell you what though. I've only got like a couple like actual sort of questions, I guess. And the cool thing about these questions is they're related to the stuff that we always talk about. And I may know the answers, but I mean, time's gone by, things might have changed. I think might have gone over it, but this next one here is a perfect segue because I know what you're really into, obviously, and what we've been talking about. With these questions, you don't have to narrow it down to one because I know that's hard. So you can talk about a couple, you know. But all right, you might know this one, but if you had to pick, what would you say your favorite video game or a video game franchise is that you always come back to, that you love maybe more passionately than anything else?
Okay, well, it's gonna have to be 2 because, yeah, well, I mean. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with 2 straight off the bat. Like I know in my head, like straight away what they fucking are.
All right.
Like no questions asked. So yeah, I guess I should like explain my history of gaming because then it would like, explain the questions why I love these. Yeah, why I love these 2 franchises more than anything, and why I still love them. I grew up on Sega Mega Drive, but to Americans, that's the Genesis, right? Even though the Mega Drive sounds so much cooler.
It does sound cooler.
And I don't know why people go, Genesis doesn't sound better. Mega Drive sounds fucking cool as fuck. Like proper 80s, like early 90s stuff. Yeah, so I grew up on things like Sonic and RoboCop versus Terminator. I used to love that game if anyone played that on the Mega Drive. But like I didn't really, I wouldn't consider myself like a gamer back then, even though I had like games and I had a console or whatever. I just, mainly because I'm going to be honest with you, they were fucking hard. Like old games back then were hard.
They are.
And they were frustrating and you couldn't fucking save. And, sometimes they were so broke, like you just couldn't get past things because they were impossible, right?
Yep.
Old ass fucking games like that are difficult. I don't care what anyone says.
No, you're right. They are. I've gone back and played a bunch of classic ones, and they're hard. Contra is so hard. It's impossible.
Castlevanias and stuff like
Mega Man, like they're tough, man. They're tough.
And they're tough games, and they're cutthroat. Like they don't give you any. So for me, it's kind of like I didn't get that enjoyment that I got in the next generation of consoles, which was the PlayStation 1. And I was still playing on the Sega when all my best friends had like the Saturn or the Mega Drive for maybe, the PlayStation for like the first year. And people were just talking about like Tomb Raider, and then all my friends were going on about Resident Evil. So this is going to segue into the first game. And I used to remember being in school at like dinner time time, because like they were going on about Wesker and Barry and all these cool fucking scenes, Shark and the giant snake, and you know, Kenneth gets his head bit off or whatever, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I'm playing fucking Sonic the Hedgehog here, and you're talking about crazy shit, you know. So it's like one of those, you know, it comes round to my birthday, I'm begging my parents as like 12 or 11, however old I was back when the PlayStation 1 came out, just please, I need a PlayStation 1, I need this Resident Evil game. You know, when you're a kid and you really want a toy and it's like, I need this.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Please.
So, yeah, please. So finally got Resident Evil, and one of my next door neighbors, he showed me maybe like 10 minutes of the gameplay once, and I remember it scared the shit out of me because like it is a scary, especially when you're like 11. It's a survival horror game. It's like rated like 18 or something. But yeah, when I got it myself, just fell in love with it, and I used to play it every day after school. And you know, you see people nowadays speedrunning it on YouTube, doing it in like an hour or whatever. I don't know how the fuck they do that, because I mean, but I could do it in like 2.5, sometimes like close to 2 hours. And I was like, you know, a kid basically. So I always do like wonder, like, man, if I still played Resident Evil for like 20 years, like consistently, like how quickly can I do that game? I always have wondered. But yeah, so Resident Evil is the first franchise that I love. Actually, it's my number 2, but we're going to talk about it first anyway.
Sure.
Because there's another franchise that I love more than it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just loved Resident Evil back on the PlayStation 1. The golden trilogy of Resident Evil games, 1, 2, 3. Every game, well, actually, I was going to say every game got better, but that's a lie, because I think 2 is actually the best game out of all of them. Yeah, such good games. And then I think like maybe like 15 years later, I'd like look back at them and play them again, and I just found like a whole new love and appreciation for them, like a lot of people did, especially with the first game of its cheesy bad voice acting and the live action cutscene and the terrible dialogue, and you just look back at it and go, man, this is such a treat. Like, like for Game Vault, like that segment I was talking about, I did a video on Resident Evil 1, and it's the first time I played it in a couple of years, and I was just literally so sad going, they don't make games like this anymore. Like, they don't put like live action cutscenes in. We don't get this level of cheese that's so bad that it's brilliant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there are just some things that like they're so cheesy and they age so well that they just go to that like cult classic level of it's just a gem.
There's a charm. There's a charm to the
There's
so bad it's good.
Certain magic and charm from a certain like time and place.
Yes.
And there's just a certain like nostalgia around it that I get. Like, it's like one of these things that I kind of feel sad for people that grow up on PlayStation 3 and 4 or whatever, and they're playing Minecraft and they're on these Call of Duties and their World of Warcrafts. Like I do, because like I've had sort of like in a way a privilege of growing up from the SNES Genesis fucking era to the PlayStation, moving into 3D to PS2 to PS3. Like, I've gone through all of the really cool stages in a sense. So to have all these old school classic games like Resident Evil and how that it's like totally different than anything made nowadays, you know, and you had all of these games on PlayStation 1. Like, there was so many like experimental, just wacky, crazy fucking games that you're never going to see 20 years later in like the modern age. You're never going to see all these weird, crazy games that have got all this madness to them.
So you're saying you kind of really like being able to look back and see the growth of the process and the stumbles, but like it's kind of cool. Like, and by seeing that though, there's some creativity. You think that we'll just never get again because
it's been lost, and you know what I mean. Like, you can kind of like look back and really appreciate something for the time that it came out, because you could have a gamer now that's only knows PlayStation 4 or PC or something, and they play like tank controlled early 90s or mid 90s Resident Evil, and they're like, what is this shit? But if you grew up playing that was the shit.
Yeah.
That was the norm. That was great. It was amazing. So like, you can look back at it with nostalgia, and you can appreciate for how good it was at the time and how it changed the gaming industry. So I'll move on to the next franchise, which I feel on PlayStation. It's another PlayStation 1 game, because I'm a PlayStation 1 geek. Is Metal Gear Solid, because
figured, yeah.
I mean, I may be biased because I'm a Metal Gear Solid fanboy, but fuck it. I think it is the masterpiece on the PlayStation 1. I think in every sense, it's the most groundbreaking game on the PlayStation. It set the bar, it pushed the bar, it made all new standards for storytelling, for voice acting, for like pace, for just, it had everything. Like, it had absolutely everything. Cracking bosses. Oh my god! Like, you know what I mean? Like, just
Well,
I cannot speak any highlier than like it's. I think this is a controversial fucking statement, right?
go ahead.
Because I am a Metal Gear fan, so people will be like, "Bah." But I think that Metal Gear Solid 1 on PlayStation 1 is the best PlayStation game of any generation to come out. Because I think, in my opinion,
Wow.
and that's if any, you can disagree with that, and that's fine, because this is just my opinion in the way I feel, in the way that I view the game, right?
Sure.
I think that it's the game that, on its console, in its generation, set the bar higher than any other game that came out in any other generation, if you get what I mean. I think it did.
Okay, so you think that for the standard and compared to like any other jump,
Yeah.
you think it was like the one? It's like
Yeah.
within its time, it was like the one, higher than.
Yeah, I think it is. Like, a lot of people say Castlevania Symphony of the Night is the best
That's
game
up
on
there.
PlayStation. A lot of people say it's like, no, a lot of people have that in their like handful of top fives on it, right? I mean, no, I don't think anyone that truly played. I mean, I get that some people won't get Metal Gear. They won't get the crazy fucking Japanese bullshit. I'm an anime fan, right? I
Yeah.
fucking love crazy Japanese bullshit. So when you put it in a video game, I'm like, this is incredible. You know what I mean?
Well,
And I love Kojima as a director. He takes loads of influence from fucking films that I love, and he takes influence from animes that I love.
well,
So
all right.
the perfect storm for me.
I don't think what you're saying is. I mean that's a very strong statement, but I don't think it's controversial. I mean, like I'll say two things. First of all, I mean I think that the first PlayStation's one that I actually didn't get to play too many of the classics of. So like that's I was more into the PS2. That's when I got into PlayStation.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah, you're a more PS2 guy, right?
But because I just didn't have the PS1, I had an N64.
Yeah. Well,
But
okay.
but I mean I don't think that's
GoldenEye.
exactly. I played so much GoldenEye, but
In Country James.
country the the
God, I'm just gonna say, I don't care what anyone says. I fucking love GoldenEye, and it's the best James Bond film ever,
that's a great
and the best fucking first-person shooter.
the you know what, some people would agree with both those. Like I think that the thing about Metal Gear from what I've heard is like it doesn't sound like it's that ridiculous because it is one of the more like highly rated games out there, and just based on what I know of it, I think that in terms of like turning video games into a more cinematic experience, I think it was the game that really did that.
Yeah, I mean, games, don't get me wrong, games before attempted to do cinematic shit and try and do that sort of like formula. So, but they failed because let's be honest with you, does people remember like the CDO and those fucking crazy CD games that were terrible? The voice acting, the everything was shit.
Yeah.
I mean, Metal Gear Solid I've got a big ass PlayStation 1 collection, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love story-driven games. I love story-driven games, and Metal Gear Solid is very story-driven.
Definitely.
So I know all the fucking different games that tell different stories. I know Kingdom Hearts has got a great story.
I don't think
or whatever. I mean, I like story-driven stuff.
Sure.
So Metal Gear Solid for me. So this is why I say it's the best PlayStation game ever made of any generation.
Go ahead.
Because when you look, especially if you're someone that grew up with PS1. I know the games that came out when I was a kid, because I bought all of them, right? All of the big games I bought, I own them now still. I know what they're like. So I can compare it to every other pretty much big title, like on the PlayStation, like a Siphon Filter or a Final Fantasy VII or a Resident Evil or that, right? I know I can compare them because I've played them, I own them. I bought all the big games. And for me, Metal Gear Solid is the game that truly, it just set the gold standard for games on that console. And do you remember, like, I've always said to you about the Full Metal Alchemist original anime, about why I think it's over Brotherhood, because of, sure, Brotherhood's got loads of things that are over it, but it's all the different elements and layers of the original Full Metal Alchemist that I think makes it still superior. Like, the voice acting is amazing, the storytelling, the side characters. We've talked about it, the themes, the layers, the fights, the importance of the villains. The ending's terrible to some people. I don't like it. Whatever, whatever, right? If you just cut that ending out and then you look at everything else, it's still one of the best anime shows ever made because of, all of its different elements that it does really solidly. For me, Metal Gear Solid is exactly the same. So
Okay.
storytelling, I mean, it's a bit wacky, it's a bit crazy, it's Japanese. You know,
But it's also
it's
takes
Metal
some
Gear. It's Metal
like
Gear. That's, what can I say? You're either going to love Metal Gear and you're going to jump into that universe and the story and you're going to love it, or you're going to think it's boring and weird and crazy. It's just one of those things. You're either
well
going to love it. It's like fucking Marmite, Vegemite, whatever you want to call it. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it.
no, well that's fair. I don't know if
Yeah.
I've ever met anybody that really hated them, but you know,
I
I
mean,
think
being a Metal Gear fan, I know there are people that don't like the because there's too many conversations and too much story for some people,
well
or it's too
I
overly
remember
complicated for some
I
people to
played
understand.
I played a bit of 2 and 3, and I
Hmm.
remembered I enjoyed the little bit I played, but I just remembered thinking this game is more cinematic than it is game. Like I remember there was one
Yeah,
section where you moved.
some
I
people
remember
don't like that.
I mean, it was just it was funny to me because I was like, I'm in a room, I
Yeah,
move one step, then it's like a 5 minute
cutscenes.
cutscene. I move 2 more steps, and then it's like a 10 minute cutscene. And I'm like,
Sometimes
why?
it can be that bad. I'm not gonna lie.
What, like, why did I move? Like, I just,
Mhm.
I don't think that's a bad thing, but maybe some people are like, this is barely a game sometimes.
Oh yeah, I mean later Metal Gear games are worse than that. So I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's like a flawless, imperfect game because sure, I can totally agree with people that don't like the fact you get codec calls every 2 minutes or there's a cutscene and sometimes there's long and there's lots of dialogue and lots of themes and stuff. But if you're someone that's played it, you understand the story, you get it. You can if you're I don't want to say intelligent enough, but if you can deep dive into the themes of because Metal Gear is all about its themes of like anti-war, child soldiers, psychological effect of warfare. There's betrayal and loyalty, and there's just tons and tons of themes, right?
Okay.
In each game. Um, they're all really good. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I mean, I keep getting off topic, but what I think it's like the best game in the layers. It's a storyline. I think it's got arguably the best storyline on PlayStation 1. It's told great. It's really deep. It's got loads of themes that are well ahead of its time for the console that it's on. Solid voice acting by David Hayter and all the
Solid.
guys. It's solid, right? No pun intended. And when you look back at 20 years later, you can pick tons of great action scenes or moments or quotes. It's like Dragon Ball Z in a sense. Yeah, there's a machine like yourself experience fear. You can pick, what I mean? You can just take quotes and lines from Metal Gear, and they're just like iconic, like Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
Or
shit.
fights or scenes or action things. It's very much like that in a sense, like Dragon Ball. You can just pick all these iconic, great moments from the series.
Okay.
The pacing of the game's linear, but it's on PlayStation 1. But it's great. You have a solid. God, I keep saying that word. But a phenomenal roster of bosses. The Foxhound unit. No, if you've played Metal Gear Solid 1, fucking Psycho Mantis. Let's be honest with you. When you see like top 10 lists of best video game bosses of all time, Psycho Mantis is always on there because. I mean, I know it's like overplayed now, but when you were playing Metal Gear Solid back in 1998, when he fucking read your memory card or shook your controller, or you were like, "What the fuck?" And then you had to put the controller into port 2 to defeat him. I mean,
I heard
let's
about
be
that.
honest, there was nothing like Psycho Mantis before that, and I think that there has never been a video game boss after like Psycho
Because
Mantis.
he basically, I've heard about that. He like broke
Broke
the
the
fourth
fourth wall.
wall, but he also was like, you physically have to do something on your console to make
Yeah,
you like go out of
beat
the
him.
game to beat him.
Yeah. So anyone out there in the comment section down below, has there ever been a video game boss where you've before or after where you've really had to do multiple things like that to figure out how to beat him? No, you haven't. Fucking revolutionary, totally different, out of the box, right?
Man, you've
And
got a lot of
that's
passion.
before you start adding in the Metal Gear Solid boss fight, the Grey Fox boss fight, the Sniper Wolf, the Vulcan Raven. There's tons of other ones. The fucking Hind D boss fight, tons of great things. Yeah,
Man.
Jesus, like the boss is great. So many great action moments, like when you're ziplining down the wall, you're in the car at the end, shooting, escaping from the jail. There's so much to this game, and then you've got to think and appreciate this was on PlayStation 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like it set such an incredibly high standard in every sense. The music was fucking brilliant, an amazing score of music. You couldn't ask for anything else on PlayStation 1. You couldn't. And I think that why I think it's the best of all time is on PlayStation games, you can say like Mario 2 or whatever you want to pick is better. That's up to you, whatever, right?
Sure.
What I think is the best PlayStation game is I take the PlayStation 2 and the 3 and the 4, and I think, has there been a game since that has just knocked every other game out of the park in basically like every section of what builds a game? And it kind of hasn't. Like, a lot of people go, oh, what about The Last of Us? It's a bit like, I'm not one of these people that will dick rise The Last of Us, right? Being a massive zombie fan, being a massive survival horror fan, loving horror games, loving everything post-apocalyptic. I don't dick ride The Last of Us. It's the Uncharted with zombies. The beginning of the story, brilliant, hooked me. Oh man, so impactful, loved it. But then like 70% of the game was, in all honesty, I was a bit like, oh fuck, this is boring. Come on, I want to get to the Fireflies now. Oh come on, I want to get to this now. Like, they overdragged it. It was slow. The pacing was shit. It was very repetitive. And then I'm not gonna lie. Then when you get past 70% and then you reach like the 100%, you finish it, fucking brilliant again. Like, but if the whole game from start to finish was as good as the slightly at the beginning and the last chunk of the game, it would have been one of the best games ever made, hands down. Can't deny that. But that whole middle section of the game was so repetitive and just uneventful that I was a bit like, I can't put it on that pedestal of the best game of all time. I just can't. And so many people dick ride The Last of Us. It's just like, I mean, I get it, but like, there are better games out there. It's not this perfect game that is better than anything. It just isn't. It's Uncharted with zombie apocalypse skin slapped on it.
Wow. Some people might get mad about that one.
Some people are going to hate that. Sure. And I mean, like, I get it in video games that a lot of character development between characters, it's not well known. But I love TV series, I love movies, I love anime, I love manga. So I've seen so much better character development with characters that when I see The Last of Us character development, I'm a bit like, I've seen better.
So,
I get that it's good for video games.
Yeah.
It's quite a good high standard for video games. But to me, in terms of storytelling and other I've seen, it's a bit.
Well, now you're getting an interesting question about storytelling, because I think that's the thing that people gravitated to with Last of Us was the storytelling aspect of it. But your whole comparison was like hitting every level of a video game. People talked about that, not so much about the gameplay or anything. Are you saying that for Metal Gear Solid of its time, would you say the writing and character development was better in that game than Last of Us of its generation?
I think Metal Gear Solid is a better game than The Last of Us.
Just period.
Anyway.
Just period.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean,
wow.
Some people could agree or disagree with that, but yeah, I'm comparing a game that's 20 years older to another one. So mechanically, graphically, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
The Last of Us is obviously a way superior game.
But you gotta take that into
if you take Metal Gear Solid from 1998 in that time frame, PlayStation 1, and you compare Last of Us PS3, I think Metal Gear Solid is a fucking way superior game.
And Last of Us is like good, but not. It's more in the bundle.
For its time, The Last of Us was the best game on the PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't, if you compare a lot, it's so frustrating. The Last of Us is so goddamn frustrating because so many people dick ride it so hard as the best thing ever. That when you have like an opinion about it, you're a bit like, oh.
Well, I mean, all right. Now you got me kind of curious because like the thing about The Last of Us is I remember it was one of those games that for a while everybody was loving it. Mm-hmm. And now I feel like it's kind of one of those things that's like sort of it's been placed on the shelf of classic and I don't think people talk about it quite as much as they were. I don't know.
They, like, I mean, obviously The Last of Us 2 is coming out, so there is a buzz about The Last of Us at the moment.
Yeah.
No, people. I would say probably it's not untrue because I'm in a part of a lot of gaming groups on Facebook and reach it. So I see a lot of people just saying that The Last of Us is the best of it. I mean,
well,
I agree that the story is great and the character development is great for video games, right?
Sure.
I can't deny that it's the best, if not in the top 2, 3, or handful of games ever to have good character development like that and the story like that.
But it's a game. It's a video game. There's a lot of other stuff that goes into it, though.
There is. Do you know what I mean? So I can't say this is the best game ever made just because it's got a really good story and a really good growth between two characters
All
being
right.
Joel and Ellie.
Can I offer you like a question, comment sort of thing?
Mhm.
I'm really enjoying talking to you about this because I know you're like a big gamer and I'm more like an amateur. I've got my handful of games I really liked, but
Yeah.
there's a whole wealth of things I never really got into. So I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm sort of like getting reintroduced to this whole medium now, and I kind of I because from people I know some people that really like Last of Us that are not hardcore gamers. And I think I'm a big movie person, so maybe I'm not like the best gamer. So for me, when a game has a really good story with characters I can get into and it can be really cinematic, I
Yeah.
might really like gravitate to that and not worry so much about the gameplay and other mechanical issues. So is it possible that was so popular because it brought in more people who weren't like hardcore gamers necessarily? Maybe,
I mean, it's a,
or, or not really.
it's no. Like, how do I explain this? I'm not saying The Last of Us is a bad game at all.
Okay.
Look, so I'll start off by saying that it is a very, very good game.
Okay.
Very good. Yes, it's one of the best games ever made. But if in my head I was going, what's my top 10 I've ever played? What's my top 20? It's not going to be number one for me, and it's not going to be anywhere close to number one for me. And it probably would be outside of my top 10. But like my problem with it is that so many people just blindly say that it's the best game ever made because of the story and because of the development between the two characters. But then if you want to break it down with a reviewer mind and you look at things, you've got to look at the gameplay, you've got to look at the pacing, you've got to look at how repetitive and slow. And all games can be repetitive, of course. So if anyone goes on that one, but it's, do you know what I mean? It's like
Oh yeah.
I think the Uncharted games are better games, and they're modelled after the Uncharted games.
Whoa.
I mean, don't get me wrong, The Last of Us has got a better story and all of that than the Uncharted games, but I think like mechanically and gameplay wise and the action scenes, The Last of Us, Uncharted 2 is like a way better game in that sense.
Well, I've heard a lot of people put Uncharted up there with Last of Us in terms of
But
games
it's
that are
made by
love.
the same people, the same
Oh, oh.
Naughty Dog make it.
Well,
I mean,
it's
it's the
also
same engine, the same mechanics.
gotcha.
Yeah.
It was from the same studio.
Uncharted has better gameplay and action scenes, and The Last of Us clearly has the better story. But
All
I
right.
think it lacks in the gameplay,
All right,
and
Dad.
it doesn't have that memorable music, or it doesn't have too many memorable scenes.
Well, then I
There
got
are very, very memorable scenes, but apart from those, there aren't very many.
I got to ask you. I know that we would probably both agree that for a great video game, I guess like for you, Metal Gear, you want to have a great balance of all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're playing a game, when you're playing a video game, what are you looking for that you think is more important? A good story with good character development or actually good gameplay and mechanics? When you're playing a video game, what is more important to you?
I think that's a question you can ask in two. Well, sorry, not ask. So it's a way that I can respond it in two sort of like mindsets
Okay.
of what's important to me. If something's got a really, really good story, really interesting characters, and it really sucks me in, I can get through a game with shitty gameplay or shitty mechanics if the story is that good. Like I'll take Heavy Rain for example. Gameplay wise, oh god, you know what I mean? I mean it's a David Cage game, and I know that style, and I do like
Quick time
those
events.
yeah, I do like those games because the stories are written so well. But gameplay wise, I'm like, oh god, this is always a bit of a chore to get through.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, stories. For me, 100% stories. I love stories and games and anime and movies and everything. You know, humans throughout time have loved stories and telling stories and writing down stories. Right?
Yes.
I'm a big brain for soaking in stories.
Same.
So right. So that's yeah. So for me, that. But at the same time, if I look at it in a different way, I think to get a truly elite level game, you've got to have a perfect balance of story and game, and you know, gameplay and story has a perfect balance of the two.
Are there any games that you play just kind of to play as entertainment without caring about a story, like a first person shooter or something like
yeah, definitely.
That you judge on its like its own scale for that?
Well, I think there are lots of different kinds of games, right?
Sure.
Because games are like art, so it's very subjective in a sense. I Yeah, I'm on both ends of this scale. Of like like I just said, I really love a game which has got a really immersive story. Don't really care about the gameplay. It can be, if it's fuck me. I grew up on PlayStation 1, and I grew up. I'm a big Resident Evil fan. I grew up on tank controls. Everyone knows how bad tank controls are. That's the thing they complain about the most on the PlayStation 1 when it comes to Resident Evil games. So I can handle terrible controls. I grew up with them. I'm not used to the super slick PlayStation 4 controls. I grew up on shit controls.
Yeah, the early PlayStation controllers, they weren't really designed around the hand very well.
Platforms on PS1 like that, just infuriating because controls are terrible. So you know what I mean? I'm cool with that. But so getting back to the question you were asking, yeah, I mean, I don't play online games now. I've kind of like gone off them because they got so samey because of sequels every single year. But say 10 years ago, big Gears of War player online. Used to love Gears of War. Me and my friends used to play tons of Gears of War, and I was a big Call of Duty player. Modern Warfare 4. Didn't like the second one as much, or the third one, but because I more went over to Black Ops. Really enjoyed the Black Ops games. I was back in those the 2010s, 2015s. When everyone really loved big on shooters. And, I was definitely playing lots of that stuff and putting tons of hours away online, killing people and prestiging or whatever. But at the same time, I'm way happy to just pick up a single player game and smash it out because I grew up on single player games and I love things with stories. So, but I can very easily jump on something online if it was good and sink a week of my life away on it.
Fair enough.
Like most people.
Well, man, I'll tell you what. You got one thing that's kind of cool for me is I really like being able to go back and look at something without an unbiased eye. Like if I don't have any emotional connection to it, I didn't grow up with it, and I can actually play it and say, okay, well, I can experience it for the first time and say, is it good? So,
Yeah,
like a lot of the classic games, like I said, I'm trying to think of. I don't know, just
that's saying like that's kind of like the concept I had for Game Vault, the second part of it. I'm playing a classic game that's really like got a big following. It's got like a 10 out of 10 rating or whatever, and I've never played it before, so it's like a first time playing it.
Yeah, you said you haven't played like many of the Elder Scrolls or like Skyrim or the Mass Effect games.
Like, I played Fallout, yeah, because last time we spoke, I was more Fallout than things like Skyrim. So I have played.
Once again, it's the same company, it's the same thing, just
very similar.
Different.
So it's like Uncharted and The Last of Us.
Yeah, basically. Fallout. I mean, there are some different mechanics, like some of the leveling and stuff, but that is a little different. But it's essentially the same. I'd love to get your opinion on some of those because that's what I've been getting into lately. But and also Mass Effect's really cool. But yeah, but I'm probably gonna go back and because there was on this unfortunately closed now, but there was this old market that had like all kinds of like like a farmer's market, and there was this place that had comic book stands, and there was like an old video game movie stand.
Oh, nice.
They had classic games, and I picked up two classic games that I believe it was unopened or it was in very good condition, whatever. Ooh. And one of them was Dune 2000, the old I guess strategy game. Do you know what the other one was?
No, what was that?
Metal Gear Solid.
No, was it really?
So I never played it, but I found it, and I was like, well, I'm gonna give this a go at some point. So yeah.
You should. I've got light. I'll be super blaring in the back now, but
yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, Metal Gear is like, I can totally see why some people don't like it because of the gameplay and the way that it flows with all the cinematic stuff. It really is one of those things. I truly feel like you're either gonna just love it and get it. I mean, you might do because you're into anime and manga and you're into a lot of the same films as me. So if you can sort of like get past that old ass gameplay.
Well, no, I don't mind old stuff, man. I've been playing I've been finding these emulators for like NES games and PlayStation stuff. So like I wanna go back and play like a lot of the classics. I've been more into like the old turn-based strategy. But yeah, if I could
cool.
I'm down to check that out. I have it now, so like I can pop it on the PS3 and I might give it a go at some point. How long is the Metal Gear Solid first one actually, gameplay wise?
You can do it. I mean, like I can smash it. So I mean, but say like someone that's never played it before, I'd probably say you're doing about 8 to 9 hours if you watch all of the cutscenes and have all the codec calls, but I would suggest that you listen to all codec conversations that you get, because it builds backstory on characters and the lore of the world, and characters have very deep, meaningful conversations about politics and war and genetics and all this stuff. So it's kind of like, if you like to really deep dive into a really rich world, you'll fucking love it. But I can see why other people don't like it, because sometimes it can be too much. And maybe they don't get the stealth gameplay. Like it's more hiding than going in shooting everyone. But you only really shoot and fight when you need to. It's all about sneaking and getting around.
That might be the thing that turns people off to it too.
Yeah. Well. So they're the two biggest things that turn people off from Metal Gear, is that it's got a very deep, complicated plot, and it's about stealth. So, so they're the biggest two things that people don't really like about it. It can be kind of too over the top and convoluted sometimes, but.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have a feeling at the very least I'll appreciate it. I don't think I'm going to dislike the game. I played a little bit of 2 and 3, but I think I was a bit confused because I never played the first one. So.
Oh yeah.
That probably.
Well, Three's the prequel to the beginning of the series. So, I mean, you could technically play that one out of order and it's fine.
Gotcha. I don't know if I still have 3. I might have to find it, but might be something I have to get again at some point. All right, Dad. Well, we're going to move on to our next section. Can you believe it? How much mileage did we get on that question? Oh, man.
I don't even remember the question.
I think it was about your favorite games, game franchise.
God, it was. Yeah, it was. I can't remember if it was about the channel.
Yeah. Well, it was a branch off.
My two favorite franchises, because they started on the PlayStation 1, Metal Gear Solid being number 1, and Resident Evil being my second favorite franchise. I've got tons of nostalgia for them. I love them. Metal Gear Solid's a classic. Resident Evil 2's a classic. Resident Evil 3 is a classic. Resident Evil 1's a cheesy golden charm of it is what it is. Maybe like new gamers can't go back and appreciate those games because they're so old and so bad. But, at the same time, if you're someone that grew up with them, you can appreciate them for the time they came out. They're still great games.
Oh, I'm sure. And
they launched huge franchises. I mean, shit.
They did. And, and part of the experiment was I want to ask these questions. I'm like, I kind of knew those answers. I was like, I'm pretty sure he's going to say Resident Evil and Metal Gear, because that's like the main thing I've seen on his channel and talk about the most. But yeah. I wasn't completely sure. So I figured those were definitely going to be mentioned. So the next one.
They're the kind of games that I buy regardless. Like every time they'll come out, like, there's no way I'm not going to buy the next Resident Evil game or the next Metal Gear Solid game unless it's Metal Gear Solid Survive. We don't talk about that.
Gotcha. All right, man. Well, the second question, I think we talked about this in a side conversation recently, but I don't know these quite as well. So you're a big movie guy. You got the Pulp Fiction shirt. You got the Toy Story cup. So what are your favorite?
It's Sasuke in the corner.
That is Sasuke in the corner. Okay, so he's got his manga.
I built this when I first came to my new home. I made this for when I have if I'm going to do videos, you can kind of if I'm doing gameplays, for instance, what you can't see is my big ass 4K TV behind this. Uh-huh. So I'm on my couch, got my games, consoles here, which you can't see, and I made this. It's it was originally a shelf, and I PVA. I cut up a Naruto manga, one of my favorite ones. And I was like, hey, fuck it, whatever.
What?
I've got so many mangas. It's I want to do something cool with them instead of just sitting on a shelf.
All right.
So
Transform it.
So yeah, this is the Donzo Sasuke fight and the Itachi Sasuke fight, and you can't really see it at the moment. If I take my mic off, I'll show you how big it is.
I was about to say, yeah, show it off. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. You made your own stand.
Yeah, man. So I made this big old stand, and I cut it to height. So, when I'm playing games, boom, it's right there.
That's awesome.
So, and in my other videos where I've got my shelves in the background, or my gaming collection, which you'll see in the videos when I start uploading them, is I'll use that for my stool. So it's the perfect height for two things. It's fucking awesome.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
One of the cool things in my new setup. And talking about as you can see right here, when I'm talking about new editing, new style videos, and all sort of things, I've upgraded things. I've got, sometimes I'll be using my Samsung camera because these are fucking awesome cameras on phones. I'm not gonna lie. I've got my Logitech camera, the new one, and I bought a new mic. I've got the Blue Yeti.
Yes.
Got one of them. So I thought, yeah, time to upgrade a few things.
Did you get an actual blue Yeti?
This is, yeah. Well, no, this is
Can't quite tell.
this is midnight blue.
Okay, I was like, I can't quite tell. It looks almost black.
Yeah, it's almost black. It's like a very, very dark blue, like glittery dark blue. It's really nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, you upgrading, man. You're upgrading.
I did. Well, you know, it was one of those like, what's the best mic? One of the best microphones you use on YouTube. I was like, oh, I get that.
Yeah, man. Blue Yetis are good. All right. Anyway, the next question I wanted to ask you related to your various things you like. Favorite movies, movie franchises, stuff like that.
Movie franchises. Well, you know me. I used to work in Blockbuster for like years. I used to be like assistant manager. So always watching movies. You know, as an employee, you got like 10 free movies a week and 5 games, I believe, if I remember rightly. So playing tons of games back then, watching tons of films. So it's such a hard question because there's so many like you could go with directors, favorite directors, styles, and like, oh god, genres. So I guess like putting
your favorites, man.
Yes, that's hard, man. That's so hard for a big film buff. But I guess whatever, you know, me and Hero and you were talking about this recently, and I think I just went to like my nostalgic like 5 that I can just always go to just because I grew up loving them, which is like I don't know if if someone said to me, "What's your favorite film of all time?" That I could go this, because there's so many good films, so many different styles of films. You know what I mean? Like it'd be impossible to just say one. So also going like on a top 5 would be hard, or a top 10. Well, so I just have to go. But anyway, I'll answer because I'm just like babbling, right? Like, how hard it is to answer a question about fucking films. So my just go-to quick films are like in no specific order. Predator, because growing up as a kid, idolized Arnold Schwarzenegger. Who didn't? If you're our age, right?
Arnold.
Yeah. So Predator. Do I need to explain to the people out there why fucking Predator 1 is a fucking awesome?
I mean, you could talk about why you like it. I mean, some of these people watching might never even seen it. I don't know. You know, they're young people.
If you haven't seen Predator, what's wrong with you out there? It's like saying you've never watched Star Wars. You're one of those people. I'm like,
they're out there though. Some people.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, they're out there.
You're like, God damn, you've seen all the Harry Potter films, but you've never seen Star Wars.
Yeah.
But anyway, Predator. So, macho masculinity, 80s movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jesse Ventura, Apollo Creed, fucking it's amazing. It's an amazing horror sci-fi film. You know, the best of the best like elite unit go in to rescue some people, and they don't know they're getting stalked by a fucking invisible alien in the jungle. And the quotes, the music, the quotes, the action scenes are pure 80s bollocks. It's amazing. Right? They don't make films anymore like Predator. And
they don't.
Let's be honest with you, we know that's true because they make all these sequels and they're shit.
This is true.
And that moves on to another franchise. So another one, so we've got Predator. So we're going to have to go to the flip of the coin on that. We have Aliens. I'm always very like, I think Alien is the best film. I think Aliens is the best movie. Does that make sense to you?
Well, I think I know what you mean, but I'm curious how you define that. Would you explain that a little more?
I would say like film would be more cinematography,
like editing,
the ambience, the angles, the, you know, more arty, classic style of old film style stuff. If you get what I mean, like that, like proper film. Like I would put it there with like Forrest Gump or Grand Budapest Hotel. You know what I mean?
Okay, like it's an artistic piece or something.
Oh, maybe not like artistic piece, but it's more like a high standard, more.
Oh, you think the quality of how it was put together?
Like so how should I put it? Films to me are like quality and like Oscar level shit. Movies are like popcorn movies, action over. Fun. All right.
Fun. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I would put Aliens instead of Alien, even though I think Alien is a better film. I prefer Aliens because, you know, the pacing, the action, the music, the tension, you know.
All right. So basically what you want to say is you think that in some ways Alien is the better movie, but
Mhm.
you prefer Aliens because you think it's more fun, and that's fine.
Yeah, it's more entertaining to watch.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that's like always a big debate for people. The
Yeah.
aliens thing, they're up
Mhm.
there, and then everything else is poop.
Yeah. Yeah. So much like Predator. Then
Uh,
we're going to move on to a third franchise that does this.
okay, I think I know what this is.
Yep. So, which is another one where I can go the sequel or the original, but Terminator. So Terminator 1 is always my favorite,
Ooh,
even though same sort of thing. I think Terminator is a better film. And then I think Terminator 2 goes more in the action entertainment movie
all right.
stuff.
I gotta ask you about this though, because this is
Mhm.
interesting. Okay, you said you think Aliens like the better put together film overall, but you prefer Aliens because it's more fun and popcorn.
Uh-huh.
But Terminator 1 you think is the better film, but you prefer that one over the more popcorn one of 2. So what draws you more to the first Terminator?
See,
I'm
that's a bit weird,
curious.
a bit contradictory in a sense. But no, yeah, it's just, I guess it's like personal opinion. But no, I think I just prefer the world building in one and the lore and just the characters of Carl Reese and Sarah Connor and just the fact that the concept of the Terminator is brand new in this movie and it's nothing we've really ever seen before.
You know, I want to have your opinion
And
about this.
it's very like horror-y towards the end in the
Yeah,
factory and shit. So it's
it is.
really cool.
I think I've always preferred 2 a little bit, but you know what? I think the first one is scarier though, as like a
Ooh,
horror movie.
yeah, for sure. I mean, because it feels like a killer robot that can't be fucking stopped or bargained or reasoned with. Number two, he's going hasta la vista, baby. Being human. Don't get me wrong, Terminator 2 is amazing. It's like one of the best sequels ever made. So
Yeah,
I
it's
love
true.
Terminator 2. But Terminator 1, I just love it. I love the music. I just love the scenes. I love Carl Reese, the character. I really, for me, which always makes me really sad that they shit the bed in all the rest of the films, is I loved seeing the future fucking war of all the skulls and the
Oh yeah,
pillars and
the crunch of the.
oh, why? I just as a fan of franchises that have just got terrible over time when they started as original. It's like, how do you make things wrong? You've got all the elements to make great shit for years. Why have we never had a proper in the war Terminator film?
I
Like
have no
not
idea.
Terminator Salvation. I mean proper humanity struggling, they're losing, they're dying, skulls are everywhere, it's all bombarded crap.
Maybe it's I honestly the only thing I can
Come on,
say
Terminator 3, why didn't we get that?
I think
You
it's
had to
just
make one.
because people like they're thinking, okay, the stuff that people liked that made the Terminator movies so popular was the time travel guy going out to get, you know, John Connor, and I think they're afraid to get away from that formula. But you're right. My one buddy Troll on the channel sometimes we're always like, oh man, why can't we just see John Connor versus Skynet in the future? Like, why can't we just get
Yeah,
that?
well, we kind of did, but it was bad.
We did. It was bad, but you're right.
But it
Have it done
wasn't.
well. Like
It wasn't what we saw in the flashbacks of Terminator 1 and 2.
it
Like it
doesn't
looked.
even look the same. Like production
No,
wise, it doesn't even look like the same sets. You know.
no, it doesn't even look like the same world or universe, which you could say alternate timelines because they've completely just killed
That's stupid.
their
That's a
own
stupid
story with all
excuse.
this time travel.
Yeah, but I agree with you, man, completely. That yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you, people that made Terminator films after 2.
All right, so that's 3
Shame on you,
films.
James Cameron.
Well, hopefully he'll come back and actually direct one. He
He
gave
did,
his
didn't he do the last one?
he like helped with the story, the
Oh,
writing,
is that what it was? Oh, okay.
production or something. Yeah, he didn't direct
Well, then it
the.
was failed from the start because V weren't going to come back and do it. I mean,
Well, the sad thing is I guess somebody paid him because I think for the last one and the one before that, you saw he was in like promotions like, "Oh yeah, this is
great.
really
Yeah.
good." I'm like,
Like you could have been paid off.
I don't know if you really believe that. You're just making Avatar 2 and 3 and 4.
Yeah. When are they going to come out?
I have no
Feels like
idea.
it's been 20 years since Avatar 1 came out.
Yeah, it has
Like
been
a
10 years.
blockbuster when that came out.
Yeah, man. I don't know. He's still working on them. They're gonna come out, but they better be the most beautiful things ever because he's taking forever making them.
Oh, I've got a sense that the second one's just going to be the biggest flop like ever.
Well, I don't want to get too off the original questions, but I think you're right because Avatar blew like all right. I don't want to get too off topic from your question, but Avatar I do think is like was beautiful and obviously changed the game in terms of like he designed a whole new form of camera to shoot those things.
I mean, I'd say it allowed the ushering in of the Marvel universe
With that
in
level
terms
of
of
just
this level of CGI quality and all that sort of stuff.
with the
I
beauty.
don't think without Avatar that you would have had the Marvel boom at all.
Okay. I think you're probably right with that. I think James Cameron's one of those guys, an innovator, and I think Avatar is important for that visually.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the story was okay. I don't hate it as much as some people do, but like,
Oh,
but it's like, it's whatever. I think you're right though. It was very big. And if
mm-hmm.
you were gonna make a sequel, if it was like, 5 years ago or more, maybe then there. But like, is anybody excited for Avatar 2? I don't think anybody
No, I mean,
is.
no one is. Who
That's
cares
weird.
about it anymore? I don't think people even consider it to be a good film anymore because
No,
it's kind of like aged, I guess, already.
yeah, that's the sad thing is you could poke fun at. I still think it looks pretty. I mean, if you want to see it in cinema, it'd probably be still really
You know
cool.
what? I was like I said, I was in Blockbuster at the time because I was probably at the height of my movie buffness of just indulging
Just
in
just
films
just
and
just
stuff.
working out with video
Yeah,
cassettes.
yeah.
Like,
I did not go and see Avatar in the fucking cinema in 3D, and I watched it on
oh,
Blu-ray, and
oh,
I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't do
dude,
it.
dude, I'll tell you what,
An instant regret of
dude. If
I
they
really should.
re-release it, that's like the only way to watch that movie is big screen 3D IMAX.
Yep,
Go for it, man.
yep, yep. And I didn't do it. And my first 3D experience, I think, was like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot in 3D.
Ew,
That
ew,
bad. As a
ew.
big movie buff, I'm ashamed to say that my first fucking 3D movie was not Avatar. It was Turtles. Hang my head in
Uh,
shame.
Wow. Well, uh, oh man.
Bastard.
Okay. Well, how was the 3D in the Turtles movie? I didn't see it in 3D.
Shite.
Like everything else.
Yeah. Absolute
Uh,
dirt.
well, it didn't help that the turtles looked so damn ugly
Oh,
themselves.
yeah, I know.
All right, you
Oh,
know what? We're getting off topic again, but I will say
oh yeah.
quick. Can you guess my favorite scene in the Turtles movie? I think Heroes is the same one.
Oh my gosh. Which one? The original ones or
No, 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 not the bad one, the Michael Bay one.
the Michael Bay things? I generally don't remember because I've watched both of them and they sort of like merge because I'm not gonna lie, can't remember.
It's okay. They're not.
I remember like maybe an elevator scene and there's something where they're
Yes,
like
yes.
surfing.
Well, my favorite was the elevator scene where they're standing and it's
Yeah,
silent, and then they make boom boxing with each other because they're bored. That was
yeah,
like perfect Turtles for me. I liked that. That was good. And
yeah,
don't get me wrong, I think the Turtles characters were fine, but that was like the only thing good about the movie.
yeah. I mean, they're very forgetful.
Anyway,
Kind of.
all right, Dad. All right, we're getting
Oh,
off
back.
track with crap
Yeah, a
movies.
little bit.
So, all right, so you said
Three.
Predator,
Mm-hmm.
Aliens, Terminator.
Terminator.
Okay.
Right, well, I'm gonna go to. I might extend it to 10 because fuck it.
Oh yeah. All right. Yes.
Because now things are popping in my head and I'm a bit like, oh wow, can I really leave that out?
You can't do it. Your conscience is saying no. You got to bring up this movie.
But yeah, I've got to. Okay, so then we go straight to The Thing, the remake of The Thing, Kurt Russell version.
Oh, when he said the remake of the thing, my heart stopped.
Not the remake.
Yes. We have like a bunch of the same favorites. There might be something
Yeah.
there. Yeah, I
Well,
love the thing, man.
well, because we grew up in the same
Time, I guess.
time frame and like the same stuff.
Yeah.
So it makes it's like me and my brother have got like it's really weird because like me and my brother we've got the exact same taste in movies. We love zombie apocalypse shit and we like the same sort of games. But then in every other aspect we're like the completely opposite. Like 14, like plays football and all this other shit.
Oh wow.
But like you, we've got like very, very similar tastes and everything, and in like everything, like fucking anime and movies, and
It's probably why we talked so long, right?
Yeah, right.
But yeah, man, John Carpenter's the thing. I know you don't have to tell me why, but maybe tell the people.
Just yeah. Wow, get that out there. The atmosphere and like sense of like paranoia of who what the thing is and just the themes of it, like because it's meant to be all about like AIDS, isn't it? But like
Yeah, I think
reflecting on
like
that in a
disease,
sense.
HIV, and stuff.
Yeah. The biggest thing is like all the animatronic puppetry work and incredible. Like you can still look at it back now. How old is it? 30 years ago?
Yeah, I think like 30. Wait, hold on.
35 years ago.
Yeah, man, because
It's old, basically.
Yeah, it's like 35, 40 years old. It's an old movie now, yeah.
It is old as fuck, and it looks super realistic and great. And I mean, obviously, you can look back and go, "Oh, that's not real," but I mean,
But like,
how
but
old it is, I mean,
like,
stands the test of time. It looks
yeah,
great.
and with what they had to work with, no like CG or anything, just
Yeah,
making
no,
stuff.
no CGI. Like, I love old films from that era of no CGI. It is generally sad that it's a super lost art of like animatronics and models and all that sort of stuff. Because, I mean, okay, you look back at it now, you're a bit like, well, you can clearly tell that's a model,
But the art that went into making it,
yeah, they
like,
are, and it just adds that certain of like magic, nostalgia, charm to you don't see that anymore kind of thing to it.
and some of them look so good that they honestly do look pretty realistic sometimes. Like,
Yeah,
I was watching Tremors 2 because I'd never seen it
yeah,
before, and just
right.
looking at the graboids, and they were pulling the worm thing out, and I'm like, wow, that looks like a real animal, like an alligator or something. It's just a puppet, so I don't. It's
Yeah,
awesome. I don't know.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there were people back where it looked terrible,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but you had like masters of that art, and it looked fucking great, and it stands the test of time 30, 40 years later.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, The Thing's one of the best horror sci-fi films ever made. You
Oh,
can't,
no disagreement from me.
you can't say no to that, really.
I
I mean, you
yeah.
can kind of see there's a bit of a pattern here that I'm a bit of a sci-fi fan, but
Hey,
I don't know. I love action as well, but
so a little bit of both there for you. Action,
yeah,
horror, sci-fi.
yeah, it's a little mixture. So what's that? So that was the Thing. So 1 4. Considering I'm going to go 10, I'm just going to chuck things in now because it's
Okay.
not like that. Okay. So The Fly.
Ooh, with
That's
Jeff
sci-fi film.
Goldblum.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum.
Oh man. Oh, the fly. That is such a creepy movie. I love that movie. Brundlefly.
I mean, it's yeah.
Dude, you want to talk about
That's that film.
special effects, man? Oh,
Right, you know what I mean? I mean, you can kind of see a pattern here of like Predators, Terminators, Aliens, The Thing, The Fly, all super old animatronic-y,
it's
amazing.
like so far you got the three C's. You got James Cameron, you got John Carpenter, David Cronenberg.
Right? And then we're going to move. So The Fly is The Fly. It's fucking brilliant. It's creepy. It's weird. It's eerie. It's Jeff Goldblum being amazing.
Best movie for him?
Yeah.
Like role performance?
Yeah, even though a film that we're going to drop in the top 10, I prefer more to The Fly, but I think his character is better in The Fly than this next film.
I have a feeling I know what that's going to be.
Yeah, you're going to get what it is. We won't go to that one just yet. And I fucking Jurassic Park, so we'll go for another one.
Oh, yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah, it's like Jurassic Park. Man, all right, yeah.
So Jurassic Park, like 1993, it came out. I'm pretty sure, if I remember rightly.
You're correct, yes, sir.
Don't remember how old I would have been in 1993. How old I would have been? My maths is terrible. I'm 34 this year, so I'm gonna take a rough stab and go around 8, 9. Maybe that's right. Not doing the maths. Just gonna do it off the top of my head.
Probably
Sounds correct. Sounds kind of right.
You were a kid when it came out, basically.
Yeah, I was a little kid and I watched it in the cinema. Wow. Just, I guess, like with people like going to watch Avatar in the cinema, sort of like one experience for the time. I think Jurassic Park for its CGI and animatronics and what Jurassic Park fucking is, to watch that as a kid in the cinema as the audience it was intended for at the fucking time. How lucky.
Man, you are lucky because I'm a little younger, so I didn't get to see it in the theaters, man. But I loved Jurassic. I still love Jurassic Park. And would you, I have always said this, and maybe I'm a little biased, but I want to ask your opinion about this. When I talk about quality special effects, like the perfect
stands up today.
Like I think nothing holds up to that, man. Like it's just even they use CGI sparingly. But how is it that we can have CGI now that doesn't look as good as back then? Like,
or hasn't aged as well as, I mean, Jurassic Park, especially with the T-Rex and stuff, and
the animatronics.
Fucking hell, it is aged so well that you could watch it today, 25 years later, close to what was it?
30. I don't even know. 25. Yeah.
Yes, 20, maybe longer than 20. Yeah, Jesus.
30 years something.
Well, I mean, that makes sense because I've just said I was a small child watching it in a cinema and I'm going, man, I feel fucking old because it's 30 years, nearly close to 30 years. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, I mean, to the people out there, I don't need to talk about how amazing Jurassic Park is. I mean, whatever age you are, whenever you got into it, let's be honest with you, it's a fucking great film. It's one of the best films of all time. I don't think anyone can deny that. Amazing animatronic CGI. And to think, like, how bad could that film have been if the animatronics and the CGI wasn't
Oh,
at that crisp level.
if they had slacked off anywhere, oh, it would be like this garbage, like silly bad sci-fi movie that people forget about, and some people would like have like their movie nights and get drunk as a guilty pleasure. But it could have easily been that.
It
But
could have
with
been.
like the level of direction with Spielberg and the money and the time and the energy and the creativity, like just
When
oh.
Spielberg was just going, knocking those fucking things out in the park, and I'm not even American, so that's not even a term I'd use.
No, but hey, and you know what the thing is too, man. And I don't want to get too off of this, but Spielberg, I don't think he comes up as like one of my personal favorite directors, but he's such a good filmmaker. Think about like if you look at his filmography, he's done so many different types of movies that you'd think he doesn't have like one genre, and they're so good. Like,
I mean, sure, he makes bad films at times,
oh
but
yeah.
he's got so many like solid things and so many different genres. But yeah. I mean, that's a weird one because we'll get back onto the question anyway. But I'm going to say, like, I'd probably agree. I don't know if he is one of my favorite directors, but a lot of his films, I can agree, are like some of my favorites I've ever watched. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so what are we on? 6, 7? I can't remember now.
6. Yeah, I think that was the 6th one. All right, let's see.
That was the 6th.
Terminator, Aliens, Predator, Fly, Thing, and we just talked about Jurassic Park. So we're 6. Okay.
6, right? So 6. So let's go 7. Probably would have been in my top 5, but I forgot to mention it sooner. RoboCop.
I was like, that's
original RoboCop. I mean, you can see most of these films are like when I grew up as a kid. I was watching films that I shouldn't because they're like 18 certificates, and I'm like, not even fucking 10 sometimes. Watch these things. So yeah, I was very blessed. I was very blessed as a kid to watch any movies that I wanted to watch, listen to any music, play any video games. I was just allowed to do whatever I wanted, and I had an older brother that had all of this stuff anyway. So I was very lucky in that sense because I got, as a young age, I got to dip my fucking toe into every kind of different media and genres of things, games, movies, everything. So yeah,
yeah, man.
RoboCop. Oh, yeah, what a fucking film! I think it's a film that when people go just think RoboCop or hear the title of RoboCop, they think it's going to be shit or a terrible film. But but there are so many people that 30 years later I've introduced them to it and they've gone, wow, that's fucking such a good film for when even today it's still a good film. And I don't think I don't know, because it came out in like 1986, so I was born then. I don't know if it was big or if it did well, successful. I'm really not too sure, because I know it's a bit of a cult classic now.
It's weird. I think RoboCop did pretty well when it came out, but I definitely think it's
well
of
enough
films.
to get sequels.
It got sequels, so it was a success. But I don't know if it was like regarded as a classic. But I mean, I think it
it is now. Like it's definitely.
Oh yeah, it's one of those ones that like now sci-fi like movie. It's like it's up there. It's like it's one of like people, but it never really was like hated or anything. So it's just like I think it just grew over time, maybe.
Yeah, I guess it's just something that's had. I guess because of the title and the concept, a lot of people just never really watched it because they probably thought it was going to be fucking the silly, terrible film. But,
well, think about it. Like it came out in the '80s. It's called RoboCop. It could have been a really bad movie, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean the first one, mate. Let's be honest. Everything after the first film, bollocks.
Yeah, I kind of like RoboCop too, but
everything.
It's nowhere near as good as the first one.
I mean, 2 is okay, but really, when you think about how good 1 is, you then go, that's a piece of crap. It's just when you see how bad 3 is and the TV series are, and the remake.
Oh, the remake.
I mean, to no one that's actually ever watched RoboCop, super ultra violence that you're never going to see in any modern films nowadays.
No.
Oh, the beginning where Murphy just gets raped and shot with shotguns and blown.
His hand explodes. Yeah.
Hand explodes. His back of his head explodes in the director's curtain.
Yeah.
Ed 209 shredding that guy. I mean, there's the guy fucking melting in toxic waste. I mean,
somebody call a medic. Don't touch him. Like,
don't touch him.
Don't like what? Check his pulse. Like really?
Yeah.
Now authorized to use physical force.
And I mean, so like all good action 80s films, it's got to have good quotes and memorable scenes. Tons of them. Me, you, and Hero always throwing them back and forth between the group, Phantom group, should we say? And they're all like, "What the fuck are you talking about? What are you going about?" They're like, "Can you fly, Bobby?
Can you fly,
We killed
Bobby?
you. We killed you. I work for Dick." Like, I'm just gonna,
Perfect.
as you can tell, you can tell it's a great film. We love it. Great action, and to be honest with you, when I used to watch it as a kid and a teenager, I didn't really sort of like appreciate the levels of like the levels of deepness and the themes it had of like, you
Oh
know, the
yeah, it's a very
whole, you know, is there
identity,
still some, yeah, the identity, and like, is he still human? Is he like Jesus, the rebirth?
and he's
Is
like
there any of his humanity left? Is he just memories as a machine? You know, all
oh yeah, that's I think that's why it's like subversive, because it's this, on the surface it's this great fun action movie, but there's so much going on, there's so much emotion, like the
yeah, I
scene
mean,
where
it's a great film. Like,
I mean,
it's like kind of underappreciated, like how good it is.
I'm telling you, like, I think you're right, it is I mean, I think people do appreciate it, but nobody like thinks about it like right away. I don't
Yeah,
know,
I
you
think
know.
it takes a couple of watches, I guess, maybe.
I guess, but like, I mean, I remember introducing my one friend to it, and like I wasn't sure if he was gonna like it because he's much younger than me,
Yeah.
and we watched it, and it just like he really loved it, and like he thought it was this fun film. He was laughing along with the action,
Mhm.
but that scene where Murphy goes into his old home and he's getting
Yeah.
the flashbacks, and he's just like pissed, but he's just showing
Yeah.
so much emotion just by like smashing, and that's it.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
wow, like this is. He was like, this is like,
It gets generally deep, questioning what is human and stuff. It does that whole cyborg, you know, Blade Runner stuff.
yeah, man. It's
But I kind of think it does a little bit better because you're more
well,
personally invested in Murphy. So I think I
well.
really like that whole,
I mean,
you know,
are
is there
there
still something human about him?
Absolutely. I mean, and I guess not to bash on Blade Runner too much, but
Mm.
is there a character in Blade Runner we, I guess, like as much as Murphy in RoboCop? I don't think so.
No, but that's what I mean. But they still go with the whole androids dreaming what is to be human sort of stuff.
Hmm.
Similar concepts, not identical to Robocops, but you know, I think you're way more invested in Murphy's. You know, we see him come into his new job. He gets killed on the first day. He's brought back to life. He starts remembering who he is, and he figures out what he now is. And it's kind of like, towards the end of the film, you're wondering like, is he really Murphy? Is he RoboCop? Is he a mixture of the two? Like, it's really fucking cool. And then, oh man, so many cool characters, so many great typical old 80s villains, Dick Jones,
Dick
Clarence Parker's.
Jones.
Yeah, I think it's a great action 80s film
All
and
right.
sci-fi mixed into it.
Um, Hold on one second, Dad. Think about your other three. I got to step away for a minute. I'm being called. There's a cat.
That's
One
right, I
second.
need piss. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm back. Fucking around. So yeah, so Merlin's gone, so I'll just talk about some random video games that are right next to me, because why the fuck not? Comment section down below, tell me what you think about them. Oh, actually, we're going to do some recommendations, because fucking yes. If you like crazy Japanese bullshit and you've been listening to all this, you know I'm a Metal Gear Solid fan and an anime fan, so if you are, you should definitely check out the Yakuza series. A lot of people get a misconception that this is like Grand Theft Auto, but with like Yakuza, which, you know, kind of a tiny bit of like Grand Theft Auto elements of like you're in a city called Kamurocho. And but that's really kind of where it kind of ends with its similarities to Grand Theft Auto. Yes, it's crime based. Yes, it's in a bit of an open world city, but you follow Kiryu, and he's kind of like a Yakuza thug with a heart of gold. And this is all about like storytelling. How you doing? I'm just telling people about some of this while I wait. I don't know if Matt can even hear me there. Actually, I think you had headphones in, right? So like if you've been listening to this, if you want something that's got great characters, great character development, you want something that's got a real good story, you should definitely go check out Yakuza.
Were you keeping the air not
I
dead?
was. I went away for a
Yeah.
pee.
Okay. Because I was like, all right. Well, I'm gonna have to edit this now. But so you were telling people about Yakuza in the meantime.
I was. I thought, wow, serve a bit dead air. Let's promote a really underrated fucking game franchise. That's great.
Which one is
So,
that?
this is the remaster collection. So this is actually technically got Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 in it to play on PlayStation.
You know, that's another one that people have been like telling me about. I remember Z was playing a bunch of those.
Oh, Z was actually playing some of these. Yeah, well, I've got all of them now. They also did one called Judgment, where you play as a cop, and a Fist of the North Star one. I've got that as well.
Oh, nice.
But like they did the original. Well, they came out with Yakuza 0, which is like the prequel to the whole franchise, and they used the new engine for the first time. And then, but if you are going to start Yakuza, I definitely recommend you should, because it's fucking great if you love anime. They did Kiwami, I think it's how you pronounce it. I think it's like Yakuza Extreme. This is a remake of Yakuza 1 and a remake of Yakuza 2. So that's like the first like section of the story, if you get what I mean. There's like 6, and then that's Yakuza 6. So I've got all of them. I've literally fallen in love with this franchise. It's fucking brilliant. If you're a fan of anime and manga and you love Japanese culture, you love crazy, weird, silly Japanese shit like we all do for into anime. It's like an anime fan's wet dream. I'm going to say that because I was saying a lot of people compare them to like Grand Theft Auto games, because obviously they're like crime based and it's in an open world city called Kamurocho. But that's kind of where the similarities between Grand Theft Auto and it sort of like end. I mean, you don't really go around using weapons or driving cars. You don't really do any of that sort of stuff. But you do go around and you fight in like an arcade fighting style of like thugs and sort of things will come up to you. And it's really, like I was saying earlier, I really like storyline games. So these have got some of the best storylines and some of the best character development and just characters that suck you in and you get invested into I've ever played in any games. Like, wow. In the Yakuza 1 games, I was like playing some games, and then like there's a boss that kills like 2 characters off in like a row, and it's kind of like, oh my fucking god, that character just died. What the fuck? We've been invested in that character for like ages, and then like another character died like 2 minutes later, and you're like, holy shit, it's killing people off left and right. Actually, I think 3 characters die all in this big dockyard sort of like fucking thing.
Wow. All right.
So it's full of like really big moments, so many cool bosses, so many cool wacky characters. They're just Yakuza is one of these really under the radar, underappreciated sort of like just series that I'm kind of like, why is this not bigger than it is? And I guess it's because it's all like dubbed in Japanese, and like I guess that's one of the biggest things. But like Grand Theft Auto as well, you get to go around, because obviously they're made by Sega, so you get to go into Sega arcades and play like old Sega games and do like claw machines, and you get to go into loads of like different things like karaoke and like
mini games.
Yeah, it's got tons and tons of mini games, so it's like that, like Grand Theft Auto as well. And also, but I feel like the heart and soul of the Yakuza franchise is its side missions. Its side missions are fucking, I would say, the best side missions I've ever seen in games, because there's such a wide range of different stories and all these different missions. You can have such wacky shit like trying to get this ghost porn tape, which is going to sound weird to people, right?
What?
Because it's crazy Japanese bullshit. Ghost porn. It's a legendary tape in Yakuza 0. But here's the thing, though, right?
Okay.
But then you could get a side story that's got really interesting, super cool, in-depth characters. You could have silly, over-the-top, fun side missions. You could have like, I cannot praise Yakuza enough. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a series that everyone should give a go if you've got a PlayStation 4.
All right.
Fucking good.
Well, thank you for keeping the air going. This is what I love about my old Phantom group, Green Clan. But just like I love the passion, man. I love it, and I love it being introduced to new things too. You know what? I've got so many games to play, but I remember Z was telling me play Yakuza. Yakuza's on the list now, man.
Definitely Yakuza.
I kind of like the GTA games a bit, even though I only really ever played like 3, to be honest.
Right, yeah, yeah.
You know what game I really liked that was GTA esque,
Right.
but I liked better than GTA games
Mhm.
was Sleeping Dogs.
Oh, okay. I've got that, but I've never played it.
I like Sleeping Dogs a lot. I because you play as I think you're like an undercover cop, so you have to like you're
Yeah.
in the gangs, but it's kind of
Oh,
based
yeah,
more around like kung fu, like action. It's a lot more like GTA. So you can wander around and you can like use weapons randomly on people, but
right, right.
yeah, the storyline is you don't have to be that way. So that's cool. Anyway, getting back to our original question first, Honey Lemon wanted me to say promote what she made for me on here. I guess she makes wonderful things. She
Oh,
actually made got the Hello Kitty cup and everything.
oh,
She made red miso for the first time, and this is really good. Actually, I don't know if anybody's ever. I didn't even know there was a difference between miso soups, but red miso, this is really good. It's a little spicy, but
never had it.
yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm having some soup because I'm hungry. So thank you. But anyway, we were just talking about RoboCop, of course. So
Yeah.
all right, so you got 3 more movies to go.
Oh shit, 3 more to go. Okay. Uh, the film I only recently watched within a year, which is like totally not my regular style of film, and I think that's kind of why I really love it, and that's the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh, I love that movie.
It's fucking brilliant, like such a good story.
Wes Anderson's really cool. Do you like how you can automatically look at one of his movies and you know it's a Wes Anderson movie with like the colorful little like everything
Colors,
looks like a little pastel
yeah,
dollhouse thing. Like I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like it's
really
his.
cool. Yeah, yeah. It's just what can I say about the film? I'd highly recommend people go watch it if you haven't seen it before, and don't go to it's like a artsy weird film because it isn't. It's just a really good story.
It's like quirky and fun, and it's
Yeah,
very very human.
yeah.
Very story. That's definitely one that's very different than your typical one, but that's showing you got some variety for things you
Oh
like.
yeah.
Yeah, I think when that
Uh,
came out in 2014, I think that was like one of my favorite movies that year. Man, it was really good.
okay, I thought it was older than that to be fair, but yeah, I guess that makes sense to come out of it. I'm trying to think what other Wes Anderson films I was liking at the time.
Do you like uh, the Royal Tenenbaums? Ever seen that one with like Ben Stiller
I
and Gene Hackman?
yeah, I've never watched it all the way through. Like I
That's
watched
that's
it
a
on TV once, but
It's a pretty good one. I'm trying to think of. I should know this because Rushmore is another famous one of his.
yeah.
Life of Steve Wasu, The Life Aquatic, that Bill Murray movie where he
Oh
goes
yeah,
after the shark.
yeah, yeah. There's the that train one. That's Egypt.
Darjeeling Unlimited,
I
yes,
see. Yeah.
yep. And Moonrise Kingdom is a really good one.
Oh,
Moonrise
I've not heard
Kingdom,
of that one yet.
yeah, that's a good one. That you'd like that one. That's like they're like adventures with like a sort of like a Boy Scout adventure camp thing. But I think Bruce Willis is in it. It's his movies always have really good cast too. Like every
Yeah.
great person's in it. So yeah, that's a good one. Moonrise Kingdom. I'm gonna feel bad because I feel like there's some
Check that
good
one
ones
out
I'm
now.
missing. I'm gonna freaking look it up now because like I'm see if we missed anything. Hold on.
Probably have.
I know I have. I'll admit I'm not like as hardcore about him. Let me
Mhm.
see. Recommending any other ones that you might have seen or missed. Oh yeah. Okay, we got Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums, Life Aquatic. Did you ever see Fantastic Mr. Fox?
Yes, I have. That's a good one.
And also Isle of Dogs was pretty good. He did that one recently too.
I've not seen that.
I liked that actually. I thought that was pretty good.
Huh.
So he hasn't done too many movies. He's done like they're all kind of quirky. And he's done some stop like not live action, stop motion
Yeah,
animation
yeah.
ones too. All right. So Grand
Sounds
Budapest
fair
Hotel.
on. What am I going to go next? Man, this is tough. I'm gonna go Big Lebowski.
Oh, The Big Lebowski. All right. You know, that's one that I had to appreciate later on. I remember that has like a big following,
Mm-hmm.
and I watched it. Like I remember, I think when I was in like, I always loved watching movies growing up, but I think when I got to high school, I started to like really look at like the list of best movies and try to go through them. And that was one that I came to, and I was like, I don't get it. Like, why is this like so beloved? And I,
It
I
takes a
d-
few watches to
it
like
to
kind of
really.
go, okay,
I'd
yeah.
probably have to watch it again. Like it's one of those ones that it's not like one of my favorites, but a lot of people love it, and I think it's interesting. So
Hmm.
tell me, why do you think? Why is it so big for you then? Actually,
The Big Lebowski is like it's one of those films that you can't quite put your finger on why you like really enjoy it if you sort of like get into it. I don't
well,
know. It's like I mean the dude's awesome, and all the characters and all the wacky characters and I don't know. It's just one of
Dad,
those films I love and it's
you're
really
killing
hard
me,
to.
Dad. You're killing me.
I know
Give
it's
me some.
terrible. I know. It's just like how
RoboCop. It's got so many great scenes and quotes. Big Lebowski. I don't know. It's just it's cool.
it's the dude. It's the dude going on it, just drinking White Russians, trying to get his fucking rug. I mean,
Yeah. Let me. Is it about? Is it kind of like the fact that it's like a whole movie around a plot that's like a misunderstanding, and it's about something so like minor, like but it's like really weird but believable. Like it could happen.
yeah,
So is
yeah.
that
It's just a really quirky film. I don't know. It's just hard to sort of like put your finger on why I like
all
it,
right?
but it's just something I love.
All right. Well, okay. So you said Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
You're going to give me one more for your top 10, and then I'm going to have another quick question for you related to that.
Oh shit.
So,
Right.
okay, so you've done your, okay, so we're going to go through the list so far so we can build this up. We have
Mm.
Predator, we have
Hmm.
Terminator, Aliens, The Fly, Robocop, Jurassic Park. We had Budapest Hotel. We had Big Lebowski. Am I forgetting one? I feel like I am. Darn it.
Nah, I don't think. No, I think you've got them all there.
Okay, I think I got them all there.
Mm.
So you got one more. What's going to be in Dead's top 10?
Oh, see, this is tough now because then
Hey,
I'm thinking of so many things like what I can slap in there. And I'm like, oh, maybe like The Matrix, maybe like Old Boy, maybe like Train to Busan.
oh, nice.
Like,
One's got one, only one. Only one can stay.
oh, there's so many others. Okay, that's too much of a cop out to go Pulp Fiction.
I was about to say it's right there.
Love Tarantino films. So I'm a bit like, oh, actually,
And that could have been a top 10. All of his movies could have been a top 10.
um, wow, that's tough. Okay, no, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go for something more nostalgic as well. I'm gonna go Big Trouble in Little Chinatown.
Ooh, okay. Another Carpenter movie.
Another Carpenter film. Yeah, I was a big fan of Carpenter back in the day as well. So, um, Big Trouble, man, what a cool, quirky little film. Recently introduced my girlfriend to it, like just going like, you have to watch this. Like, it's such a cool, cheesy little cult classic film with Kurt Russell in it. Fuck, it's just got so many cool little elements to it. I don't know. It's just another really great underappreciated it is sci-fi, like sci-fi adventure kind of like a little
Maybe
bit
more
of
like
like
fantasy
martial
kind of.
arty. Huh?
It's more like fantasy, like magic, I guess.
Yeah,
Right?
that's like fantasy like Chinese fantasy kind of like film. It's like very different.
Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China is a good one. Would you believe it though? I've only seen it once, and it was like fairly recently.
Was it really?
Yeah, like a year or two ago. I like it, but I did not see it up until then, until recently. It's a good
Oh,
one.
okay.
It's a
Yeah,
good
well,
one.
I grew up as a kid, so I've watched it, countless times. I can quote it. Like one of
Gotcha.
those kind of films.
That is a good one. I'm surprised. Okay, so you like, all right, here, okay. You like John Carpenter movies. You like The Thing. Obviously, you like Big Trouble in Little China. So with Kurt Russell, I'm surprised with being such a Metal Gear fan. No Snake Plissken Escape from New York love, actually.
Ah, true. Yeah, it's like
Not that good.
yeah, like I mean, I enjoy them. I think they're kind of cool, but I don't think they're at the like elite '80s level of. like really good films. But then there were so many Arnie films that I could have put in there that I don't want to fucking overflow the top 10. I could have gone easily Total Recall and Commando.
Well,
And
Dead. It's okay because the beautiful thing is we can do more podcasts and stuff and talk about more movies. It's okay. They'll have their time. It's all right. But my side question before we move on to my last big question is, okay, your main group. There were some strange movies in there. I like some strange, surreal, like kind of art house films sometimes.
yeah.
What is the weirdest movie you like the strangest out there movie? Because I like some weird stuff, and I think some of yours were kind of on the edge. Like I guess Grand Budapest is a little quirky, and I mean The Fly and The Thing are kind of strange maybe, but like are there any movies you like that are like really weird and out there, like really strange visually or like concept wise or whatever that you come across?
I mean, there probably is, but when I'm put on the spot, I'm like, oh man, I need to like think through the memory bank of all the films that I've watched. Like something that's really strange that I've really enjoyed. I don't know, because I kind of feel like I kind of like quirky odd movies anyway. Kind of like, even though some of them are quite popular, but when you kind of think about them in their genres, they are kind of like weird films in a sense. I don't know if there's like one weird film that really stands out. What would you classify as like really weird?
I don't know. That is I guess it's a good question. I mean, all right. I like David Lynch movies. You know who David Lynch is? Like he's like some of his stuff is really really strange, like Eraserhead, and obviously one of my favorite movies is Dune.
Right,
that.
yeah.
So like kind of like really like surreal imagery and weird like shots and a lot of focus on symbolism and maybe like out of sequence storytelling, not straightforward linear plots, more like
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Wow, that was quite a bit. I would go for Memento. I think that's probably the
ooh,
first.
Memento is a weird one. Memento is a good one though. I like that one.
It's always like it's always been one of those films that I've rewatched over and over again, just because so many different people have so many different theories and outlooks on that film of like what really happens and what he really remembers, and it's kind of like you kind of go into it with your own view of it, and then but then you hear loads of other people, and then you watch it again, you can kind of see it from their point of view, and it's kind of like it really questions like what actual really happened of this film, because it's obviously told all out of sync, and it's all to do with a dude losing his memories. So I mean, it's like
makes sense.
yeah.
Memento. All right, cool, man. All right, well, that was great. We had a really good movie section. That was awesome. All right, so we can chat a little bit after this, and heck, you can ask me questions. I don't know what we do, but I got one big question again. So, all right, this is more, I guess, more just chatting and introducing to new people. I mean, I knew the games you said. I pretty much knew most of the movies, not all of them, but most of the movies I kind of knew were some of your favorites. I mean, I've known you for quite a while. We're friends for a while. So, all right. So that was okay. But the big question is, what is your favorite anime or anime series, if you want to pick a couple? And I want to see if this has changed or if I might know these too. I think one of them got talked to. I think two of them might have gotten mentioned before, but I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong.
Oh, yeah, no, I think they have. Yeah, they have actually. It's one of the pains, right, of making some type of like my stupid brain of like making videos and leaving them in private sometimes, because I did like a top 30 anime list. This was about a year ago. And like I've watched like stuff and I'm a bit like, oh man, I'd so change that fucking list. So I'm like, do I even upload that anymore? Just redo it because other things have been added. Another one, because I'm into so many anime series. I'm not big on movies. I'm not like a big Studio Ghibli fan or anything like that. I know people absolutely love that stuff, and it's like I can appreciate it for what it is, but it doesn't really hook me for like entertainment. I can appreciate the art and all that sort of like stuff, but I kind of find them a little bit boring.
Okay, that's fair.
I can see why people like them.
Yeah, I like the Miyazaki movies, but that's fine.
Yeah, so I'm way more into series as like, they grew up on Shonen, Dragon Ball Z, fucking Naruto, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, all the big over the top fighting stuff. And then I think like most anime fans, when you get introduced to all that stuff, you get to a bit of a point where you're like, no, I want to see what else is in this crazy, wacky world of anime. And then you start finding series like Cowboy Bebop and Full Metal Alchemist and Champloo, and then you hit sort of like a point where you're going, oh, is there anything else? And then you always find the next level of shit. and then you find a next level of even more deeper stuff like Monster and Evangelion.
Yep.
You know how it goes for people.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like there's a general progression, isn't there, for like
Yeah.
anime
I don't
fandom?
know. I kind of feel like it always comes back round to shonen.
Maybe it's because shonen's like it's a good introduction, and a lot of people can just always
Easy to watch.
come back to shonen. Not everybody. I mean, I guess there's a lot of shoujo stuff out there that might be good too, like the romance and stuff is popular. But I
Oh
guess
yeah.
that's the other side of the
Well,
coin.
I
Ma-
mean,
Magical girl stuff. I guess
isn't
that's more technically shonen, though, right? Like Sailor Moon, right? I guess.
that shoujo or whatever it is, the girls' version of it, or whatever it's called?
I just don't know if I think if it's action based, it's still usually considered shonen, even if there are like a lot of girls. I don't know. But I
Oh right.
guess I'm wondering, like, has the pinnacle still like remained basically the same for you, the bedrock, you know?
Yeah, I'd say like the bedrock is still the same, but I've probably snuck in a couple of new things in there.
I know you're like, oh, I'll mention a couple in the before we get to what it really is about.
Right, so we'll just go from 1 and then we'll go down to 10. I'll probably do this way with Cooker.
Sure. All right, cool.
Um, 1, I always did it with a 1A, 1B, but I think I'm going to kick out the B.
Okay.
So originally, I've always been Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood can't really. I'm like, but I'm gonna boot Brotherhood out and be like, no, actually, now I kind of just.
You just don't care about Brotherhood that much.
I just don't care about Brotherhood anymore, and I'm just one. I'm sorry to all those people that are gonna be like Brotherhood, blah, it's so fucking great. I'm just not one of those people. It's amazing. It's great. I love it. I love all the fights. I love all the new characters. I love all the new content they add to it. It's great. It's Full Metal Alchemist. I'm a huge hardcore Metal Gear, fucking Full Metal Alchemist.
The Metal Gear Alchemist, the
Too many
best
metals in this. You know what I mean? I'm a big FMA fanboy, right?
Yes.
But I prefer the original series. I just think it's darker, it's deeper, it's got better themes, better pacing. I think it creates a better adventure, and I think the villains are more threatening, and they're more of a danger to the characters. No one wanted to fuck with a homunculus because you had to have certain rules to fight him and kill him.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you were going to die. Main characters like Scar were scared to fight him one-on-one. You had to have an escape plan. And to me, that was great. Obviously, the ending was shite to some people. I kind of like the whole parallel universe and the whole World War II thing. It's kind of weird and different.
It was interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I can agree that Brotherhood's got better animation and better fights and does other things better. I just think it kind of lost the heart and soul of the series a little bit, even though it's closer to the manga, which people like. But
It's ironic, but I do think you're right. I've always kind of been on the same boat with you there.
I mean, I think it's a bit of a shame that, when they were making the anime, they sort of like caught up the manga and they had to sort of like go down their own second half, because I think that first sort of like half of Full Metal Alchemist was brilliant, and then strayed too much. Well, no, I like a lot of the changes, but obviously if you haven't introduced father and all that sort of shit, you're not going to really know how to end the series. Even though I don't like the ending of Brotherhood, I thought it was a bit like, why are the credits rolling? Why have we gone all this time to have a very lackluster fight where you've defeated a god? I'm just like, what?
Yeah, I think I kind of like the fact that Brotherhood gave them sort of a happy ending, but it was a bit anticlimactic, because I remember the fight with Father. You'd think it would be like this really tense thing, and then it really wasn't. Like, he kind of got stomped because everybody was around. Even if Ed couldn't have beaten him, he was literally everyone else was there. So
Yeah.
it was just, I don't know.
Yeah, very.
The stakes weren't really as high as they were building up.
Yeah. I wasn't like I don't like father and homunculus story in it. Like I actually prefer the original homunculus and the whole way that they're created, like, bring someone back to dead through failed transmutations or like stuff. Because they've got like way more personality and they get more screen time. Like Lust, she's an amazing supporting character. You know what I mean? And like I said, I think they've got way more of a danger and a threat level in the original. And I kind of like the whole Dante thing, but I mean, obviously the ending. I mean, fuck me, they kill the main character.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, I guess both the payoffs in both series
A
aren't
little.
great, and Brotherhood's to a lot of people is much better. But I think if you take away that, alternate reality ending, and you look at the rest of the series, you're kind of like, oh, it kind of is better.
Yeah.
But it depends what you prefer. If you prefer more action and more that sort of stuff, you're going to prefer Brotherhood. But I think if you want something that's got a bit more depth to it and a bit more of a journey, a bit more like heart and soul, then you're going to go with the original.
I agree.
Fuck me, that was just number one.
Well, there you go.
Oh shit! Right, we're going number two. Well, I don't care what anyone says. Dragon Ball Z.
Wow. Well, this is still pretty much the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very, very kind of. I've slotted out a couple of things over the years.
Sure.
But I mean, got me into anime properly. So many nostalgic childhood favorite fights, quotes, scenes, characters. I mean, it's Dragon Ball Z. Everyone can go, oh, it's overrated. Oh, 30 years later, it's fucking shit. It's Dragon Ball. Fucking give it a day. It's one of the greatest, most iconic animes ever. Don't give a fuck.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to dispute that. I mean, even if you don't like it, clearly
It made fucking anime popular in the West.
yes, it did.
No one, if you're watching this now, you wouldn't be fucking watching anime if it wasn't for Dragon Ball Z in fucking Cartoon Network.
And there's a good chance you
No,
probably
yeah.
watched Dragon Ball Z already. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good point. I think even if you don't like it and it has its problems, the influence of the show and how much it's just ingrained in pop culture. It's actually probably. Do you think Dragon Ball is more popular now than it was like at its height back on like Cartoon Network back in the day, like when it was first airing?
No, but I will say it's had a consistent, huge fan base that's been loyal, that has continued through the years, so it's always kept its popularity. I think. I mean, yeah, I can kind of like it's. I would say it's more pop culture now.
It's like more. It's like more ingrained. Like it's more.
Yeah,
like
it's
more.
definitely it's more ingrained now because you get to see it in memes and all this stuff and shit, like with basketball players and Conor McGregor knocking out people going Super Saiyan. So it's more ingrained in pop culture now. But I would say back in those late 90s, early 2000s, it was just fucking
the hype
shit in anime. The video games were all great. Everyone loved the series. All my friends ran home from school and watched fucking Dragon Ball Z every day. And I knew tons of people that did that. And through being on YouTube, I've met tons of people that had the exact same experience with all their friends coming home to watch Dragon Ball Z on Toonami. It was fucking massive. Naruto's never done that. Sorry. One Piece, as amazing as it is to people, has never done that.
Not in the West.
I mean, the only other thing you could argue was like first season Pokemon. There's ever been that.
Yeah, early Pokemon was pretty huge too. That's true.
Probably the only thing that's ever been equal, if not bigger, than Dragon Ball Z at its height.
And with Pokemon, I've always thought like that was big for anime, but let's remember, people got more into the games and the cards than the show first.
True. I mean, obviously, the cards and the games really helps its massive popularity.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's ever been a more popular anime than Dragon Ball Z, even if One Piece has outsold it in manga and other shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, One Piece maybe have outsold it in numbers of manga, but like at least in the West, like
well, here's one thing: is like One Piece has never been able to crack pop culture like iconic, world-renowned status like Z.
And how also, I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to say like when One Piece ends, maybe we'll get a better handle on it. But to be honest with you, man, this is the big thing too. Even though anime, thanks to Dragon Ball and a lot of other shows, has become more acceptable for a lot of people, and like a lot of geeky things, it's a lot more like people getting into stuff. It's cool, but I don't think that like okay, you know how like with Dragon Ball Z, obviously a lot of anime fans like it, but there are a lot of people that didn't care about anime, still don't, but they still loved Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
as its own thing. I don't think One Piece is at that level.
Launched out into pop culture. It was just huge.
I mean, I think Goku, like the last year or two, Goku and Vegeta or something, they were in our Thanksgiving Day parade.
Yeah, I saw
like,
that.
Like that's
crazy.
That's right? It's okay. It's a little crazy, but think about it. It's like that level. Yeah, like there was a time where kids thinking this is this show we liked as kid. You know, now it's like it's been embedded in there, like with Snoopy and like.
Yeah, it's still around. It's still around. Still really popular today.
Yep, it's still going.
And the series finished fucking 20 years ago or something.
I think maybe it's just that more people like take it a little more seriously as like a piece of fiction now or something, as opposed to back then.
I don't know. I think it's because it was like one of the ones that set the bar in Shonen and set the standard at the time for a lot of things to come. That now people could look back 10 years ago, 20 years ago, however long it's been now, 30 years ago since it first started or whatever. or I don't know, maybe it's been like 20 years ago since it was like massive, or 15 years ago. Let's say it's 15. Probably makes
Sure.
more sense that, right? So in 15 years, I don't know, I was mumbling about 20 or 30. That makes no sense. Like 15 years ago, when it was like massively big, you
Sure.
didn't have your One Pieces, and you didn't have like evolution. Like you didn't have things getting better and learning from Dragon Ball. So now people can look back at it and go, "Oh, the terrible story, character, blah blah blah," because it didn't have it then. Because it did what it did. It set
Yeah.
the bar with the things that it did.
So
I
you,
mean,
so you, okay. So do you think that there really isn't anything more? Well, I think
it was
that
the style at the time, to quote The Simpsons.
you're right. Exactly. You're right. It was there. You're right. Things have obviously advanced in terms of
Yeah.
character and stuff than Dragon Ball, but I think that people have a lot realized there was more to it than just like the one dub on Dragon Ball Z we got. There was like a lot more to the
I
story, I
mean,
guess.
I think in a weird way that Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball is a little bit underappreciated for just how good it really actually is still. Because I think a lot of people like they just shit on it like now, like because there's One Piece and it's so much better. I just think people just like
All right. I
start to finish. You might and you see all the details and all the little world building, all the little nuances and all the little things that adds, and all of the like tropes that it set. You're like it's fucking it is brilliant. Like it's
yeah,
brilliant.
yeah, I
You
mean
just
like
accept it for what it is. Like, oh.
all right, and that's the thing. Like sometimes I remember when I was getting into like making my videos and stuff and sort of rediscovering Dragon Ball because I grew up like just watching Z on like with what was it on Funimation and that with that their videotapes that I rented and bought, and that was pretty much all I had for a long time. But as I got older, I went back and I found out more about the manga and stuff, and I read the manga like the early Dragon Ball stuff with Goku as a kid, and I think that there was some like intelligence and cleverness in the books, like from the humor. Like Toriyama, he's doing homage to things. He's making fun of his own story. Like it
Yeah.
started as like an adventure comedy, but like it's not a dumb. People think like, oh, but there's
Yeah, and I mean, like that's one thing that gets on my tits when people go, "Oh, they're shouting for like fucking 10 episodes in a row," and I
it's not
mean,
all it is.
no, I mean, don't get me wrong. There are moments when people scream for like a minute or two, but they're fucking epic, big moments that are iconic, like in the fucking history of anime.
I know. So it's like you can make fun of it, but like it's still
It's like JoJo's got stands, fucking Dragon Ball Z's got power ups and big planet busting crap, and every series had its little tropey, iconic thing that made the series itself.
well,
Its own original flavor.
when you go back and watch One Piece and try to see, like, try to look at it and say, all right, because I watched for the heck, but I actually went back and just like tried to go through it because I missed pieces of One Piece and I went back and watched the Arlong part again,
Yeah.
just to like say, okay, I read some of this in the manga, I want to actually like watch it again on the anime, and I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed all of One Piece that I've seen. I do think it's really good,
Mm-hmm.
but do I think that it's like groundbreakingly so different than Dragon Ball? I mean, maybe like there's a little more characterization and world building, like things are better
Yeah.
defined, but like it's not like a massive step different. I don't know. But I haven't watched enough
Well,
of it to
yeah, I
compare.
mean, I'm one of those. I've only gone to Skype here, so I mean, I can't really comment on it in a sense because I know a lot of people see there's a lot of foreshadowing and world building and a lot of things that twist and turn and come back that was mentioned from ages ago.
Maybe there is, and I know
I mean,
Toriyama
yeah,
just
I mean,
makes
there
stuff
must
up.
be because I mean, that's all anyone ever talks about. Like, so
So maybe like
but,
there is a little bit better, but like
but I
I
agree.
don't
From what I've seen, it hasn't like there wasn't like a big jump gap in improvement from what I saw. And like to me, like I'm sure there is to a lot of fans that have watched it and grown up loving One Piece. But to me, like there's no epic like showdowns, like fights, scenes, or like big plot twisty kind of like things that Dragon Ball
well
Z had
do
that
you
I've watched from up to like Skypiea arc so far.
well I
I mean,
think
like
like
I've always said this to Zoro and Smoke Raider and Jorshay and all these people that were like, fuck, wow. When I went, I fell asleep like in the Alabasta arc 3 times,
oh
like
wow.
watching it. Like this is why I wanted to like redo the series because like, as I said, like I don't know, an hour ago or whatever, huge Shonen fan. I love all Shonen, whatever. And for some reason, I can't seem to get invested in One Piece. Like I've
Well, look,
Like,
man.
I don't,
Look,
well, I
sometimes.
want to try and do it and get it.
Okay, well, give it a shot again. But remember,
Mm.
sometimes you might just not be able to get into a thing. Like it might not be for you.
Yeah, I know. That's what's a little bit sad about it because I love so many big shonen. Like shonen's my favorite genre of anime, and I love fucking anime fights and all that silly bollocks. I mean, but obviously I love like deeper series, is like Monster and stuff,
Sure, yeah,
and
I know.
like Pluto and whatever, you know. But I love, you know, it's shonen's my guilty pleasure in a sense. It's the shit that I love. Like I love all that, you
There's
know.
nothing wrong with that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
And a
yeah,
lot of
man.
people are like that, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to
Yeah,
apologize for that here.
yeah.
Um, all right, man. Well, all right. We got the big two out of the way. Now it's getting more interesting. What's some, I guess, anime be in would also fill out your top 10, I guess. Might not know all these.
Oh, right. So I went two, didn't I? Okay. Well, we're gonna go three. I'm gonna say 99 Hunter x Hunter.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? That's really cool because I remember years ago you were like, I'm gonna finally watch it.
Yeah.
Wait. So
And
just
I've
to
recently
clarify,
just watched 2011
oh,
version.
okay, good. Because I remember once again comparisons, and I like the 2011, but like I remember
Mhm.
Hero told me watch the 99 one first. I think it's kind of like an FMA Brotherhood thing. Like I really
Right.
appreciate the atmosphere of Hunter x
Mhm.
Hunter. I love the. I think it's mostly just the damn music, man. Like I love the music in the first anime.
I mean, yeah, I agree. It's very FMA and Brotherhoody. I mean, I really like the 2011 one. I probably could easily put this at number 4 or 5 if I really wanted to. Um, the 99 version is like the art style, the animation, the music, the characters, Hisoka, uh,
Hisoka was so good.
Leorio. Just, I don't know if it's like also a little bias because it's like my first introduction to Hunter x Hunter and realizing, holy fuck, this is like one of the best shonens ever made, and I've held off from reading it and watching it, and I've been just like
Well,
slapped with an
dude,
amazing world
I,
and
I,
story.
I'm glad you're talking about it because I remember Hunter x Hunter was like one of those ones that I was getting into big when I started doing videos on here,
Mm.
and
Well, I
I
kept
was
away from it that whole time.
it was I know we never talked about it years ago, and I remember I was always like, oh, making the videos. I loved Hunter. I still think Hunter x Hunter is like one of the best of that type of anime, and it's weird
No
because
question.
I
I
was
think if
recently
it was finished, it would probably be the best shonen
that
ever.
that must be yeah, because like before I guess the 2011 one came out, it's like I never heard anything about it. I never heard of anything. No one ever talked. If Hero hadn't
I
recommended it, I
heard,
would have known.
yeah, I mean, I had little rumblings about it just because talking to so many different chapter reviewers, and I knew it was done by the same guy that did Yu Yu Hakusho. I loved Hakusho, so I was a bit like, okay. But then I knew that the 99 one was like, I'm not totally finished. They didn't double the OVAs and stuff, and that's all like put me off a little bit as well. And then I knew the series was still ongoing, so I was a bit like, do I really want to invest in it? And then I did, and I was like, fuck it, it's absolutely brilliant. Loved it. Like, just loved the charm of the show. Fucking, like, well, if I'm putting it at number 3, I mean, I'll put it in high
But
regard.
okay, but would you say that that one is a better like written show than Dragon Ball, for instance? I mean, oh, not
Dragon Ball.
like Dragon Ball.
Well, Dragon Ball Z going at number 2 is because it holds so much childhood nostalgia and what it means to me and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, but I really put Hunter x Hunter on a very high pedestal in terms of shonen now. Like, now that I've checked out, both animes, I'm like, I was really, really impressed. And obviously, I'd already seen Naruto. I was a bit like, okay, now I can see where Naruto took so much from it in the beginning.
Oh
And I
yeah,
used to hear that all the time, and I was a
with
bit like,
with the
right,
exams. Oh yeah, with the Chunin
I
exams and the
hope
Hunter
it's not
exam,
that. Yeah.
completely lifted. Absolutely.
And I think when Naruto went off in its own little direction, probably when Togashi, is it Togashi who makes it?
Yeah,
Hunter x Hunter?
Togashi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he probably went on some sort of 2-year hiatus, and Naruto went, oh dear, I've got nothing to copy. Went down into the shitter.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not really wrong.
No, you're not wrong, I guess. But wow, I don't think I've ever heard anybody actually say that. That's funny.
Naruto was only good when it was copying Hunter x Hunter.
Wow. I'm gonna that's officially the title of the podcast.
There
uh,
you
there you go.
Right, four. Actually, there's so many things going around my head, but I guess it doesn't matter what order it's in.
No,
I'm just
it's
gonna go.
fine. Doesn't have to list it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Well, kind of feel wow because I've got the Z in there, so I'm gonna go like Cowboy Bebop. But I don't want to make it sound like a bit of a cop out. Fucking this, like.
hey,
But I
it's
don't know.
fine.
Yeah, we're gonna go for Bebop. I mean, don't really need to say much about Bebop. The music, the characters, the episodes, it's fucking
It's
brilliant.
Bebop.
You can think it's overrated, whatever, for its time, what it
Does
was.
anybody really say that?
No, I think people do. I think just because it's held in such high regard that there's always going to be people that say it's overrated. It's one of those things, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
But it's so solid. So solid.
It's great. It's top to bottom, one of the best animes ever made, easily.
Yeah.
Going to the next one, Monster. Even though it's a bit of a slow burn of a series that's not my usual pace, I like. Love the themes, all of the layers that go around all the different characters and all the different story plots that merge together towards the end. And I love all the ideology.
I wanted to. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we're talking. By the way, our lists are similar again. But I will say one thing. Did you notice this with Monster? I can't think of too many other ones where the anime followed so closely to the manga. It was almost like frame for frame. Like you could watch or read either, and you'd have like basically almost the same experience, like story wise.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's very, very close. It's great. Like such a pain. Well, I guess I haven't really looked for it in a long time, but it was a real pain in the ass for the series to get hold of for like me being in UK because I'd have to like export it from America or like Australia, and it's like oh. But I had to have it. Like, yeah, I'm a big fan of Naoki Urasawa. If any of you guys remember following me from back in the day, I loved
Oh yeah,
Boys and Pluto. And Master Keen was okay. Haven't checked out Billy Bat yet though. But
oh yeah, people tell me Billy Bat's really good.
yeah, I mean, I've always liked Pluto more, which I've always been like really sad that it's never actually got an anime.
I think
like,
once it eventually does, I'm sure it will. Then people will be like, "Oh man, Pluto's the best."
There's hope because like look how long it took JoJo and things like Parasite to get a fucking anime. Like
yeah, Parasite. Yeah, I remember discovering the Parasite manga. Like this is really good. It was like The Thing, and I'm like, why hasn't this gotten an anime? This is like, and then it did a couple years later.
I mean, one of the things about being someone that like collects a lot of anime and just like blind buys so much shit is like sometimes you like stumble across stuff that it's like really under the radar and you think why is this like 6668 in like Opart Hunter like
Opart Hunter was good. Yeah,
why did that never get out? It's like
dude,
Kishimoto's twin brother. Like
yeah, why I'm surprised that never blew up. That's like straight Naruto. I mean, like I don't know.
Mean, a lot of people say Naruto took a couple of ideas from it, but because they are very similar. But coincidence. Yeah, but that's the series I always thought like years ago. Like, why has this never got an anime? Why is things like Pluto never got? Why is 20th Century Boys never got an anime? Like,
oh yeah, 20th Century Boys. Oh yeah.
I mean, it got the movies, and I was a bit like, I mean, I like the movies; they're kind of cool. They're not amazing, but if you're a fan of 20th Century Boys, you're going to enjoy it, so watch it. But didn't get an anime. I'm like, but Master Keaton did. I'm like,
weird, huh?
Like, really? Keaton gets the fucking anime series and Pluto and 20th Century Boys don't. Like, come on now.
That's really weird. I don't know the answer to that one, man. Okay, so I knew Monster was going to be there. Monster is great. So you got 5, I think, right? Yep, you're right. Bob and then Monster. Yes, okay.
That's 5. Like I said, they're not going to be any order, so I'll chuck them in. Yu Hakusho, I'm going to put that in there.
Even though you still think Fullmetal Alchemist is better.
Yeah, I do. Like, shit, I remember those debates with Uber Akai.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
no, that old debate. Yeah, I never got that.
Like Hakusho's incredible. It's great, but it ain't FMA.
No.
And you could break it down from things, from characters to storytelling to animation to dubbing to whatever the fuck you want to go into, the themes, the layers. Fullmetal Alchemist is better in every single category. But Yu Hakusho is iconic. It's legendary. It's great. I fucking love it.
Hakusho is really good too, though. I really, really like it.
But, you know, there are some super elite level anime that's slightly above it.
The super elite. The Ginyu Force of anime.
The Ginyu. Hitting out those poses. There's not many. The Hakusho is incredible. I guess it's not one we really need to talk about because everyone knows Yu Hakusho and they know how fucking amazing it is.
Yeah, I hope so. You know, if you don't, please watch it. Yeah.
So that was five. Or was that six?
6.
That was six. Oh man, this is damn.
Hey,
Okay.
you're the one that wanted to go 10 with these. I originally said like,
Well, no, it's not. It's like, what can I put in 10 now? Because I'm thinking like, okay, there's some really great things that I kind of love. I'm a bit like, oh crap. There you go, 10. Count Kutsuo, the Count of Monte Cristo.
ooh, that's one I
Really,
haven't heard one in a while.
yes, really enjoy that.
That's really
Really,
good.
really like psychedelic, crazy colors and animation style. Very different.
The visuals were good. Yeah.
Visuals are really different. So I could see a lot of people not liking it because the visuals are so crazy, but they're really, really artistically clever. Everything looks, everyone's clothes look like 3D. Like,
They're like translucent kind of. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's totally visually different than most things you're ever going to watch in an anime. It's weird. You're either going to like it or you're not going to be able to watch it because it's so different. But it's obviously the Count of Monte Cristo storyline told with a bit of a cyberpunky, sci-fi kind of style. So that's a great story, and they put their own twist on it, and I love their own twist on it. And I think it's a very unique, different, sort of underappreciated show that I don't think a lot of people have seen.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I'm glad you mentioned that one. That's another one of my favorites. I remember yeah, I'm glad you know about it. I remember that was one I watched like probably like maybe like close to 10 years ago or something. That's a
Yeah,
really that's up there for me too. But yeah, it's another great one that nobody talks about.
it is sad. There's so many great series that no one talks about.
I
um, so I was on,
think that's 7, right?
what's that? I'm on 8 now. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm
just
on
the
8.
eighth one. Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna go Bokuno
Bacano!
or Bacano, however you want to pronounce it.
Exclamation point. Yeah.
Yep. Not Durara or Dur or however you want to pronounce that one.
Rah.
Durara. Yeah. This was a series that sort of I stumbled across when I was in a real drought to watch something new. Like, if you're a big fan of anime, you probably, if you're watching this, you probably are. You probably all get the same thing where you're watching loads of really good series that you're recommended, and you hit a real hard drought, and you're like, shit, I need to find something new and that's gonna excite me and give me a bit of passion about the genre. And then Bokuno just slapped on my table from a review, and I was like, okay, this sounds really fucking cool. And it's another thing that's told all out of place, kind of like a Pulp Fiction-y kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about gangsters and immortals that are trying to suck in each other's souls. It's got a very Cowboy Bebop-y kind of like style and vibe to it. Really cool characters, really cool music. It's you can, yeah, it's if you like Cowboy Bebop, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, Bakano's a classic. I haven't watched that in such a long time. I got to rewatch it. But I remember that's a very highly rated one.
Very, yes, very high level.
Who?
Just one of those series that slipped out of nowhere and then just caught on fire, and a lot of people were like, "Wow, this is really, really good." And yeah, so that's definitely one some people should check out if you've never checked out that.
Nice.
Right, we got to go 9. Now I'm trying to think of my anime collection. Brain go do. Gungrave, but
Ooh.
always watch Gungrave from episode 2. Never watch episode 1 of Gungrave. Never. And it's a much better experience. And I've told people and I've recommended them to do it, and they've told me thank you because that made the fucking series way better. And I'll tell you
So
why.
tell me
Episode
why.
1 gives away all of the plot twists that if you don't watch it, that you won't see coming or you won't know about, like the betrayals and the comebacks of certain characters and the
Yeah.
purposes of certain things, right? And you don't need episode 1, because what's episode 2, everybody? It's a flashback of why and how we got to episode 1. And if you just pretend it doesn't exist, you're going to start from the beginning of Harry and Brandon's story. You're not gonna know about anything. You're gonna see their rise up through the mafia. You're gonna see them get the power. You're gonna see all the supernatural weird shit come in, and it will feel natural. And then you'll get the revenge, and you'll get you'll get the big betrayal, and then you'll get the revenge that you won't see coming if you don't watch episode 1. And it's
You know what? I've never heard that recommendation. I kind of wish I had watched the second one first then, because I watched the first episode, but I thought I was supposed to. So, I mean, Gungrave's got a lot of the mafia stuff I like too. I think there's very few really good like organized crime anime, and there's a couple. But so you like Gungrave a lot, obviously.
yeah.
Are you more of a Gungrave than Trigun then, over Trigun?
Yeah, that's a bit of yeah. No, I would actually say I think Gungrave is better than Trigun.
Oh wow. Okay.
No,
Okay.
yeah, I just prefer like Trigun's like
I think Trigun's quite good. I think Trigun's another
Trigun.
classic.
Yeah, Trigun's is it's one of those people have it in high regard, and it's like I mean yeah, it's good and I enjoy it, but it's just not something I really like enjoy. If you get what I mean.
Gotcha. You prefer
Never really.
Gungrave for sure.
Yeah, got one left in it.
One left. What will it be?
Damn.
The final of the 10. Anime King.
Your boxes are. Wow. I'm literally like trying to picture in my head like my shelves now, and I'm trying to like, go down them and go, wow, what's gonna go in that like last place? That is a fucking hard question. There's so many good things I can put in. What have I not gone with?
You've watched a lot of shows, Ben.
Yeah, I know. I've watched so many shows, and I'm just trying to think of really think of things that I really, really, really enjoy. Okay, yeah, right. We're gonna go JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I knew you were going to say JoJo. I'm like, he's been watching a lot of JoJo lately. I
I've
think
been
he's going to
watching
say.
so much JoJo, right? And I'm like, why the fuck did JoJo not come to me until I was like struggling to think? And I'm like, oh my god, I've been like loving JoJo.
Yeah, that's another one like Hunter x Hunter. You kind of held off on it for a long time.
Yeah, I'm really weird. Like, if I know, I learned from my drought experience where I like to keep some series at bay for a couple of years. That if I run out of things and I'm really in an anime mood and I want to watch an anime series, I'm like, okay, there's that I've never checked out that I've heard is very, very good, and it's like perfect. And I did that with Hunter x Hunter, and I did it with JoJo. I watched both of them actually at the same time. So I did all. Well, actually, I'm on episode 31 of part 4, or like episode 30, I think. So I haven't finished it yet. But
So, what's your favorite part of JoJo so far?
I really enjoy 2 and 4.
Okay.
Oh, let's talk about 4 first. I think 4 is very, very different than the other JoJo series. Well, actually, that's weird because
They're all different.
They're all different. So that's a stupid thing to say.
No, well, I know what you mean. It stands out.
I like the style of this very different.
Do you like the whole serial killer angle?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I like the colors they use, kind of like Grand Budapest Hotel and stuff. The pastel shades of colors, and the way they build up the first half of the series to be very easy watching, just like stand user of the week, but more interesting than they did it in part 3, right? And then it's very like, I feel like unlike the other series, it's very easy watching, binge watching kind of like feel to it, which I kind of like, right? Nothing's particularly great about it at the first half, but it's still very enjoyable. You really enjoy the characters and the stories that are being told in each episode. And then obviously at the halfway point, you get introduced to Kira. Obviously, I haven't watched it all yet, but I like that flip over to now there's a serial killer. It's been building up to it. We're now hunting down the serial killer. I like all the, I really like all the characters. I mean, Joe Taro, I forget, what's part 3 do called?
The guy that Jotaro's training, I forget his name. Young guy.
No, Star Platinum. God, why? Jotaro, isn't it?
Jotaro.
Hero. Jotaro.
Yeah.
God, Hero's going to kill us.
I was like,
Calling yourself a JoJo fan, you kind
of. Jotaro. Yes, Jotaro. The most popular one. Yes.
They're calling part 3.
Big chains. Big bling.
Platinum. Yeah. I was a little bit like, they've kind of like nerfed him a little bit in his abilities after part 3, which I was a bit like, but I guess they had to because he was like way too overpowered by then, stopping time and sort of dug themselves into a little bit of a hole there. So.
It gets pretty crazy in part 3, though.
Yeah. Well, part 4, just really love the style and the feel of it. It's very different. I like the whole serial killer aspect of it. Kind of cool. And then part 2, the Pillar Men, Joseph. I mean. Fucking it's brilliant. It's really entertaining. It's really fun. The fights are cool. Just the story and the pacing is great.
So, is Joseph your favorite Joestar over Jotaro?
Yeah. No, you know what? Because he gets more screen time and you get to see him be the young man, the cocky, the really strategic, charismatic kind of character. To then we get to see him in part 3 where he's the the fucking bumbling idiot kind of in a sense. And he's like, oh my god,
He's
but
all
he's still,
worrying.
he's still the big, the dad of the group. He's the strong character in a sense. You could argue he's like the centerpiece still in a way. I don't know that. I don't know. Polnareff, I think, still's the fucking show in part 3, but
Polnareff.
yeah, Polnareff. And then you get to see him in part 4. He's an old man, and he's like 90 or whatever the fuck he is, and you kind of feel like, oh no, that's Joseph. I'm really sad. But yeah, I think I don't know. There's not been a JoJo character yet, but I think it's better than him.
All right, I think most people would probably agree with that. So once again, like most people, no real love for good old straight-laced Jonathan, huh?
He's just too
basic.
Too bland. I mean, he's kind of cool, but he's just bland.
He's a nice guy. He's just your standard hero.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's the first. I mean, the guy that I can't remember. Is it Iraqi? I can't remember. Did he do JoJo? I could be wrong.
Honestly,
I'm terrible. I'm terrible with manga. Manga kids' names. That dude. I mean, I guess at that point in time, he was like finding his style and what he was going to do. And then we see in part 2, he just goes nuts. And then part 3, he goes better. Like each part, sort of like gets more bizarre and great. I mean, that's the greatness of JoJo.
Indeed, it gets weirder and weirder.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's 10. All right, man. Well, geez. Got to the questions. I don't even know how long have we been going on this thing. I don't even know.
Long time.
This is a long podcast. Cool. Well, those were pretty much the only questions I had to get us through for this. Do you have anything else you'd like to talk about before we wrap it up? I mean, shit.
Oops, sorry. Flying back to the world when I was no, I don't know.
Yeah, man, we covered things. All right. We did. All right. Well, wow. Well,
we've got a lot of show and game recommendations that if they're stuck in lockdown, they can go check out.
Yeah, definitely. Check out Dead's channels. I'll link them both in the description below. He's got a lot of game stuff he's got to be going into. A lot of content got to be coming his way in the coming year or two here. Tons of it backlogged. So that and some anime stuff for sure.
Yep.
So, Dead, I'll probably have you on again, for a podcast. I'm hoping.
We can always talk for hours.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we talked even longer than I thought. It was great, but we can probably. Hopefully, we can do something else. I guess on the Phantom group again, if we can get enough people on. Definitely. I'll try to get Hero on here and maybe.
If Hero come on Zoom, come on, Hero.
Yeah, no, yeah. Honestly, man, I mean, I don't think we had any issues.
Well, hopefully this all records good.
I mean, it said recording. Hopefully, it's not all corrupted or something. So this will be a first for me. So
I probably should have recorded it at the same time too.
Well, hey, next time, whatever. All right, Dad. Well, thank you for being on again, and I'm gonna end it. And I guess I'll just stop the recording and.